Chapter 51 Uncle 9, Young People Are Different. Please read more, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 51 Uncle Joe, Young People Are Different. Please read, 4K. Early in the morning of the next day, Bai got up early and started to prepare for morning exercises. Since he came to this world and joined the Shinshao sect, Bai's work and rest has become unusually regular. He will get up and practice before the cock crows. Good morning, Brother Dao. Bai looked at Uncle Gio in surprise. He actually got up so early. Good morning, I was a little excited when I exchanged Taoism with Brother Dao yesterday. I just want to practice today. As Uncle Gio said this, his old face turned red. If Bai hadn't come here, he would definitely not get up so early. He was very face-saving, so he naturally didn't want Bai to see that he was actually a little lazy. Although he had nothing to do with laziness, it was no problem for Uncle Gio to start practicing before the cock crowed before, but now Uncle Gio basically couldn't do it. Brother Dao, how about we have a sparring match? Bai was very curious about Uncle Gio's strength. Logically speaking, as the son of luck in this world, even before the plot just started, he should have the strength of a human teacher, and his current cultivation progress has also gone from the early stage of foundation building to the middle stage. And he will probably be able to break through to the late stage of foundation building soon, but he has many and strange abilities. That's fine, brother, do you want to spar with me or with magic? Uncle Gio hesitated for a while, but he felt a little itchy. He hadn't sparred with others for a long time, and he was actually a little tempted in his heart, so after Bai asked for a sparring, Uncle Gio hesitated for a moment and agreed. All right. Then let's do it with the body. The power of magic is too strong, and I'm afraid it will be difficult to control. Uncle Gio thought about it and finally chose the body, because if you use magic, if you don't control it well, you will hurt people later, and there are things to do today. Then I won't be polite, brother. Okay, Uncle Gio nodded, and both sides took a fighting posture. Here it comes, Bai shouted softly, then raised his hand and hit Uncle Gio directly. When his fist was about to get close to Uncle Gio, he changed direction. Uncle Gio was somewhat unable to react. He hurriedly resisted the pain on his arm that rushed to his forehead, and then his body flew backwards. What a strong force, and this move is so weird. Uncle Gio muttered in his heart. He didn't expect the opponent's physical skills to be so amazing. Brother Dao, it seems that you don't seem to be very good at physical skills. Bai shook his head. He could have punched Uncle Gio in the face just now, but he didn't do it. After all, it was just a competition. It seems that Uncle Gio is not his opponent in physical skills. First of all, he shared the 8 gates with the chat group. Secondly, there are physical skills in the world of pirates, Uchiha fluid skills, fighting skills in the King of Fighters, and fists in the God of Death. Bai in Resident Evil has also received professional fighting skills training. It can be said that in close combat, Uncle Gio is not Bai's opponent at all. Dao Yu is very fast and powerful. I guess I won't be your opponent even if I fight you harder. Uncle Gio flashed a bitter smile on his face, propped himself up and climbed up from the ground, patted the dust on his body. He felt that he was really embarrassed today, and was subdued by Bai with just one move. In fact, he also understood that if Bai had chased and attacked without giving him a chance to react, he would probably be finished. It's normal for young people to be stronger. Are you still coming, Dao Yu? No, let's do morning exercises. Uncle Gio waved his hands repeatedly, and couldn't help muttering in his heart that this young man was really different. He should not fight with young people at his age. The punch just now almost made Uncle Gio see that he was too young. It seems that his old bones still need more exercise. The two practiced for an hour. After seeing that Bai finally decided not to practice, Uncle Gio couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. He quickly shook his hands and wiped the sweat on his face. Uncle Gio wanted to take a break half an hour ago, but after seeing Bai's weird practice method and high-intensity movements, he felt that it would be embarrassing if he chose to give up at this time, so he followed, but he regretted it after a while. Why does it feel like I'm the only one practicing the 8 gates? that the progress of the 8 gates has been a bit slow recently, and they have only reached the 4th level together. Later, they need to urge Bai Yi in other worlds to practice together. Shaking his hands to relieve the soreness in his hands, Bai Yi felt that if he continued to practice like this, he would not need Taoism to open the 8 gates in the future, and he could send the zombies away with a kick. After greeting Uncle Gio, Bai Yi also prepared to wash up. Wen Kai got up. "Master, the sun has just come out. Do you still want to drink foreign tea?" Just now, he was very angry with Bai Yi. Uncle Gio looked at Wen Kai sleeping like a pig and was very angry. Why is the gap between people bigger than the gap between people and pigs? Bai Yi is even younger than Wen Kai and Qiu Sheng. They are so powerful at such a young age. These 2 disciples are really useless. "Master, can I go too?" Wen Kai got up quickly, and there was a little excitement on his mature face. "Yesterday, I thought I didn't have a chance, but I didn't expect there would be a surprise today. Otherwise? If you don't want to go, just keep sleeping." Go, Master, I also want to experience foreign tea." Wen Kai couldn't wait to lift the quilt, then stood up and prepared to wash up. Brother Taoist disciples are really energetic. "Oh, you scoundrel, you scoundrel." Uncle Gio shook his head, glanced at Wen Kai, and a trace of helplessness flashed in his eyes. In fact, Uncle Gio didn't have much idea about Wen Kai, and he didn't expect Wen Kai to achieve much. Wen Kai himself does not have any talent in cultivation. He just hopes that Wen Kai can live a good life. "Speaking of which, Brother Dao, will you go back to the sect for a competition later?" Uncle Gio asked curiously. Every once in a while, Taoist sects will gather together to compare themselves. There are heads of each sect and disciples of each sect. Now, the sect competition is about to begin, but I feel that even if Bai Yi participates, he will probably participate as the leader. Bai Yi also said before that the Xinshao sect has declined, and Bai Yi will be alone in the sect. I will go. After all, we are all members of the Taoist sect. It's okay to participate. I just want to go down the mountain to see if there are any suitable disciples. Bai Yi nodded and replied. He naturally knew that as the leader of the Xinshao sect, he had received the news a long time ago. Well, I'm afraid it's a temporary disciple. Uncle Gio didn't know what to say. He just wanted to go directly to the newly recruited disciple. He seemed a little too anxious, right? Don't worry, there's still time. If it doesn't work, I won't let them go. Bai Yi naturally wanted to see the strength of both sides at that time. If it didn't work, forget it. Anyway, it seemed unnecessary at this point in time, and there was no prize. It was just a matter of discussion and then a test. That's right. Master, I've done it, you can go out. After Wen Kai finished washing, he ran up to Uncle Gio dressed like a big cock, then looked at Bai Yi aside and said, Good morning, Master Bai. Good morning. Compared with Qiu Sheng, Wen Kai is more honest. Although he is not smart enough, he is still somewhat polite. Yesterday, Bai Yi got acquainted with Qiu Sheng and Wen Kai. Originally, apart from his status as the leader, Bai Yi was even younger than Qiu Sheng and Wen Kai. And don't call me leader, just call me by my name. It felt a little strange to be called like this by Wen Kai. Okay, Master Bai. Sure enough, this guy's mind was a little too expecting. Brother Dao, should it be okay if I bring Da Huang and Xiaohe with me? Bai Yi actually didn't want to take them with him, but those two things kept sticking to him. Anyway, they would go wherever he went. He used to have to follow him even when he went to the toilet, which made Bai Yi think that Rhubarb wanted to take a hot bite. I don't know this either, but, what's in the sleeve? Uncle Gio watched with wide eyes as Bai Yi lifted up the sleeve in his hand, and then sucked all the rhubarb and little black into the sleeve, and his whole body felt bad. Does the Xinshao sect still have this trick? It's far different from the universe in your sleeves. Even Sun Wukong can directly absorb the universe in Renjin Yuanzi's sleeves. Bai Ye's magical power can only be said to be a poor imitation. It's already pretty good. Then this should be able to pass, right? Bai Yi looked at Uncle Gio with a smile. If it didn't work at first, it would be okay now, right? Of course, fellow Taoist, let's go. Uncle Gio nodded, then made a request, and the two of them left Yizhuang together. Wen Kai, who had recovered from behind, also controlled his long mouth at this moment. What a powerful spell, if it will be. It seems I can't offend Master Bai if I take him in. Wen Kai secretly made a vow to himself in his heart not to provoke Bai Yi. Although Bai Yi was younger than himself, he was much better at magic than himself and Qiu Sheng. I don't know who is more powerful, Master or Master Bai. Wen Kai compared it in his heart, and then felt that Uncle Gio was more powerful. In his heart, his master had never lost, and he always thought that Uncle Gio was the most powerful. Tea restaurant. Uncle Gio looked at the unfamiliar things around him with some embarrassment. Although everyone in Rinjia town respected Uncle Gio, he didn't have much money to come here. Fellow Taoist, you have been to these places, and you will have to take care of me from now on. Rather than making a fool of himself later, Uncle Gio felt it was better to inform Bai Yi in advance. Don't worry, it's just a packaged restaurant. You can just go to the restaurant you used to go to. It's just that some of the dishes are different. In the era before Bai Yi traveled through time, this was no longer the case, and Western restaurants were no longer novel. They were found in every street and alley. So that's it. I remember Master Bai. Master, just leave everything to me later. Just remember it, if something goes wrong later, I will embarrass you first. Uncle Gio also made up his mind that if there was an uncontrollable situation, he would let Wen Kai take care of it first. Do you three have any reservations? What? Didn't Ren Fa decide a place for us? That he has little strength and is very talkative. Bai Yi looked at Wen Kai strangely, and Uncle Gio turned his head and glared at Wen Kai. The waiter beside him also said with a smile, it turns out to be Master Ren, please follow me. Take the three people to the second floor, sit for a while, and wait for Master Ren to come. Bai Yi turned his head and looked over. Sure enough, the Ren family has produced zombies since ancient times. It would be a pity if this face did not become a zombie after death. Uncle Gio, I'm sorry to be late. Who are these two? Oh, Master Ren, this is my apprentice Wen Kai, and this is Bai Yi, the head of the Xinqiao sect. He happened to come to my place as a guest yesterday, so I thought we could come together. No problem, no problem. Master Ren waved his hand, looked at Wen Kai, and then looked at Bai Yi. He looks dignified, but it's a pity that he is a Taoist priest. If Ren Fa doesn't die, does it mean that I have changed my direction? Bai Yi glanced at Ren Fa, and then fell into deep thought. Maybe we can give it a try. There is no need to let Ren Fa die. After all, the movie is just to advance the plot, but in fact it is probably because Wen Kai and others ignored it, and the old man Ren who did not suck blood is actually easy to deal with, and if Ren Fa is not dead, he can get some merit. From this point of view, it seems that he needs to save Ren Fa once more. Just as Bai Yi was thinking, a warm voice in his ear made him come back to his senses. Dad. Hey, Tingting has met Uncle Gio and Master Bai. Ahem, almost responded subconsciously. Bai Yi coughed lightly and greeted Ren Tingting politely, while Wen Kai on the side was completely demented. It's so big. Lecture. Ren Tingting cursed in her heart, and at the same time, when her father asked the waiter to take the menu to Uncle Gio to order, the other party could not understand the words on it, and she also had an idea of revenge in her heart. I want a cup of coffee. Master, what is coffee? Wen Kai took the menu and whispered to Uncle Gio, but Ren Tingting beside him heard it, and secretly laughed at him as a bumpkin. Mr. Ren ordered coffee, and she said coffee, a thing they didn't know. Let's see how she teases this scoundrel later. Coffee is coffee, something from the West. It tastes a bit bitter and not very good. It's a bit hot. If there is iced coffee, I think it will be better. Compared to the hot coffee of this era, Bai Yi still misses a big cup of iced coffee for 9.9 yuan. Oh. Master Bai also knows about this. Mr. Ren's eyes lit up, and he turned his head and looked at Bai Yi curiously. He didn't expect that he actually knew about that Western thing. Yes, I know something, but I don't like it very much. Don't give it to me. Give me a cup of Coke. Compared to coffee, Coke is Bai Yi's favorite. He only drinks Coke. You've also studied abroad. Aren't you a Taoist priest? Ren Tingting blinked her curious eyes and looked at Bai Yi and asked, P.S. Thank you for your tips. Chapter 52 The First Apprentice Selection. Please read it later, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 52 The First Apprentice Candidate. Xiao Zhui reading, 4K. You don't have to study abroad to know the outside world. Bai Yi shook his head. He had been living on this land in his previous life and now. Master Bai, how do you know about it? When Kai was a little anxious, he wanted to have something to talk about with Ren Tingting, but he was a country bumpkin, and she was the eldest lady, and she was so beautiful. It would be great if she could marry him. He decided to find out more from Bai Yi, and then he and Ren Tingting could have a common topic. Ren Tingting on the side also blinked at Bai Yi with curious eyes. How about when Kai send you to study abroad? Uncle Gio turned to look at Wen Kai with a smile. This apprentice was more concerned about this than his own cultivation issues. Is it really okay, Master? Wen Kai looked at Uncle Gio expectantly. Originally, he didn't look forward to going out before, but now he wants to go out and have a look. Then he might have something in common with Ren Tingting when he comes back. What do you think? Uncle Gio's expression immediately changed. He was speaking sarcastically, and he even shamelessly asked himself if it was okay. Is your skin itchy again? Then I won't go. Wen Sai's face fell, and seeing Uncle Gio's expression, he didn't dare to mention this matter anymore. Ren Tingting on the side couldn't help covering her mouth and chuckled when she saw it, but it fell into Wen Kai's eyes, and he began to doubt in his heart whether Ren Tingting was interested in him, because she actually smiled at him. This licking dog. Bai Yi looked at Wen Kai strangely. Bai Yi would not accept him if he was not included in the 4 major licking dogs, even though those licking dogs were also quite outrageous. The farce did not last long, and Master Ren also began to discuss the relocation of the burial with Uncle Gio. His father had told him before his death that the coffin would be removed and buried when the time came. However, their family's business had been getting worse and worse in recent years. Master Ren also wanted to remove the coffin and bury him and change his family's feng shui. Master Ren, this movement is worse than silence. I think you should think carefully about the coffin removal and burial. Uncle Gio is not very supportive of lifting up the coffin and reburying it. People bury the coffin well in the ground, so this movement is naturally not as good as silence. As he said this, he also gestured to Bai Yi with his eyes, hoping that Bai Yi would also help persuade him. Indeed, but it mainly depends on what Mr. Ren thinks. Bai Yi coughed lightly, feeling the look in Uncle Gio's eyes. He was also a little helpless. Why did it have anything to do with him again? It's not like I didn't notice that Master Ren had already made up his mind to move the burial, but you still tried to persuade him, which was obviously not possible. Dad, why do we need to move the burial? Is there anything wrong with Grandpa's tomb? Speaking of which, why don't you buy rouge and gouache? Ren Tingting is still here. Logically speaking, she should have gone to buy rouge and gouache. You don't need to worry about Tingting. Mr. Ren waved his hands a little exhausted, then looked at Uncle Gio and said, Uncle Gio, I'll leave this to you. Huang Baiwan has some business to discuss with me. I just leave first. Okay. Uncle Gio opened his mouth, but the last words were stuck in his throat and he couldn't say them out, although he really wanted to persuade Master Ren to give up this idea. Since Master Ren had already decided, there was nothing he could do. Brother Dao, in fact, it's good to respect the wishes of the parties involved in this kind of matter. It's like we know that this matter is not good, but there is nothing we can do about it. As long as the details are taken care of, there won't be so many problems. No. I forgot to negotiate the price. Uncle Gio kept mumbling for a long time, and finally managed to say this: he forgot to talk about money with Master Ren. Master Ren left directly. He hadn't even settled the matter yet. Of course he knew what Bai Yi said, and he didn't agree with it, but since they had already made up their minds to do it, could he still stop it? Why is it not good to relocate? Isn't this superstitious? Ren Tingting approached Bai Yi and asked curiously. She had received a Western education, so she naturally did not approve of the Taoist priest's tactics. In her opinion, it was just pretentiousness and deception. Originally, when she found out that her father and Uncle Gio were talking about this kind of thing, she actually didn't want to come over, but thinking about it later, I just came over to say hello to my father, and then go buy rouge and gouache later. I won't stay here for long, but because what Bai Yi just showed made Ren Tingting a little curious, she temporarily suppressed the discomfort in her heart, and she actually felt a little sorry for Bai Yi. It's obvious that Bai Yi should have received a new type of education, so why would he think of becoming a Taoist priest? Isn't this pure waste? This is not superstition, Miss Ren, let me tell you, Stop talking, I'm not interested in this. Literary talent, you are responsible for all the laughter today. When Kai originally wanted to explain to Ren Tingting that this kind of thing was not superstitious, but before he could finish his sentence, Ren Tingting directly stated that she was not interested in this kind of thing. Being buried is similar to moving. You have lived in one place for a long time, and a person suddenly comes to help you move. Do you think it's okay? Not good. Ren Tingting shook her head, thinking that it seemed like this. Although her grandfather was dead, it was true that he had lived in the same place for so long. It was indeed not good to just move away. As for superstition, it depends on whether people are willing to believe it. Just like people in the past also believed that the sky is round and the earth is round, that even in the era before White Knight traveled, some people still believed in it. With your eloquence, becoming a Taoist priest would be a bit of a humiliation. Taoist priests are also a profession, and there is no need to be unyielding. Besides, I think Taoist priests are quite good. Bai Yi is actually quite satisfied with his identity, at least in troubled times. Ordinary people are the most vulnerable to death. They not only have to face warlords, but also all kinds of monsters and monsters. Master, didn't Miss Ren say she wasn't interested in these things? Go away you idiot, Uncle Gio glared at Wen Kai, feeling a little helpless in his heart. Was he not interested in these things? It's obvious that I'm not interested in you. If you were as handsome as Bai Yi, then maybe people would be willing to chat with you more. Thinking of this, Uncle Gio couldn't help but recall that when he was young, dogs passing by would look at him twice. Sure enough, this is a common problem among handsome guys. If Miss Ren is fine, I'll leave first. Okay, let's talk about it when we have time. By the way, I will talk to my father about that matter. After bidding farewell to Bai Yi, Ren Tingting spoke to Uncle Gio. Apparently, Uncle Gio had just said that she would tell Mr. Ren that the price had not yet been negotiated. At the same time, it seems that the rouge gouache will have to wait until next time to buy it. Thank you very much, Miss Ren. I will choose a suitable day for the relocation later. Uncle Gio glanced at Ren Tingting gratefully. Just now, he clearly felt that Ren Tingting did not want to see them because of her literary talent. It seems that it is also because of the impoliteness of literary talent. Ren Tingting is indeed a very sensible girl without the temper of a young lady. After the four of them parted, when Kai looked at Bai Yi nervously and asked, Master Bai, you don't like Miss Ren, do you? Although when Kai was a bit silly, it didn't mean that he couldn't see that Ren Tingting was obviously interested in Bai Yi. Looking at Bai Yi's handsome face and his humorous and witty conversation that attracted girls, he still has a wide range of knowledge, and I always feel that if he competes with Bai Yi, he doesn't seem to have much advantage. I'm attracted to it. Ah! Not only the literary talents, but also Uncle Gio looked at Bai Yi in surprise. No. Bai Yi, are you serious? I'm not talking about the kind of fancy that I like. I want to accept her as a disciple. I just observed her and found that she is very suitable for practicing Taoism. The Yuan Yin is not broken, and the physique seems to be pretty good. You can try to get the other person to practice with you. He is the only one in the Shinshao sect, so he must recruit some disciples to expand the sect. It is indeed a good seedling. Uncle Gio nodded clearly. If you put it this way, everything would make sense. Master, since Miss Ren is a good seedling, why don't you accept it? When Kai was anxious, if Ren Tingting leaves with Bai Yi, won't it be difficult for him to see her in the future? What's more, looking at it from another perspective, if his master can accept Ren Tingting as his disciple, wouldn't he be able to see her every day, and maybe he can use this to see if he can really marry Ren Tingting and reach the pinnacle of life. Are you an idiot? How can I accept someone as my apprentice in my environment? Uncle Gio raised his left hand and hit Wen Kai on the head, almost making him angry to death. In his environment, even if he wanted to recruit disciples, he would have to recruit male disciples. First of all, his place is Yizhuang, where the corpse is parked. Should he let a girl live there? Secondly, the people living there are all men, and he still has to live in the town. If Ren Tingting lives with him, it will inevitably arouse criticism from the people in the town. Even if he doesn't care, he still has to care about Ren Tingting's reputation. And Mr. Ren will not agree to it, so this condition is not established at all. On the contrary, Bai Yi is different over there, and Bai Yi is not in this town. If Ren Tingting is willing to go with him, that is also a good choice. It is better to go up the mountain to practice Taoism in troubled times than to stay here. Moreover, Bai Yi is the only one left in the Ren Shengxiu sect. Do you still want to compete with Bai Yi for disciples? All right. Wen Kai felt even more uncomfortable. After listening to Uncle Gio's explanation, Bai Yi finally understood why Uncle Gio did not accept Tingting as his disciple later in the movie. Considering this, it seems that this is indeed the case, and it is not that there are no talented disciples among Jiao Shu's disciples. Qiu Xing's talent is acceptable, but Qiu Xing has not put his mind on this at all. In fact, Ren Tingting could tell from the contact that she might not have any intention of practicing Taoism. Her father died at that time, and she needed to manage the family's property, so it was naturally impossible for her to practice Taoism. Besides, she is probably not very good at practicing Taoism. If she lives in Yizhuang, her reputation will not be good, but if she goes back and forth like Qiu Xing every day, then she is a much more dangerous woman than Qiu Xing. Fellow Taoist, it's just that she looked like she wasn't very interested in practicing Taoism just now, right? I'm just not interested right now. I'll make her interested. Isn't this seduction, fellow Taoist? Brother Taoist, who do you think I am? When will my Xinqiao sect need to use this kind of trick to recruit disciples? Bai Yi stared at Uncle Gio with wide eyes in disbelief. Obviously he didn't expect that Uncle Gio would say this, so this is what Uncle Gio thinks of him. Hey, Taoist friend, what are we going to eat today? I'll go buy it. Uncle Gio was so embarrassed that he couldn't help himself. Why couldn't he control himself and say it out loud? No, I'll treat you today. How can you be so embarrassed, Taoist friend? It doesn't matter, I just happen to have some. Speaking of this, Bai Yi first threw De Huang and Xiao He out of his sleeves, then he took out a can of monkey wine from the monster world and some sea king meat from the pirate world from his sleeves. What kind of meat is this? Uncle Gio looked at the piece of meat in front of him in surprise. He had never seen it before. Although he was a little greedy, Uncle Gio still had to figure out what kind of meat it was. After all, there are 4 things that people who practice Taoism don't eat. Fish meat. Such a big fish. Where did Master Bai get it from? Wen Kai asked curiously. He had never seen such a big piece of fish meat. He swallowed his saliva and was so greedy. Fish in the sea, and some other meat, take it out when you go back later. You may need your help to deal with it later. Leave it to me. Wen Kai patted his chest and promised. Although he was not good at other aspects, he had always been the one cooking for the charity cemetery. He was quite good at cooking, so he was naturally confident. I have been living in Uncle Gio's charity cemetery for 3 days. During this time, Uncle Gio went out and discussed with Master Ren the date of the coffin and reburial. When that day came, Uncle Gio put on his yellow Taoist robe and asked Wen Kai and the others to take the things they would need and hurried to the cemetery in the back mountain. It seems there is a Dong Xiaoyu. Bai Yi passed by a tombstone and subconsciously glanced at it. He almost forgot it before. Although this female ghost was pitiful, he still helped her to transcend. Staying in the world is also a disaster. Master Bai, we meet again. Ren Tingting greeted Bai Yi enthusiastically after seeing him. After returning to Rinjia town, everyone she met here made her feel out of tune with herself. Even in the county town, she had never met anyone as knowledgeable and talented as Bai Yi. Even if the other party was a Taoist priest, she was bored these days. Seeing Bai Yi, she also wanted to chat with Bai Yi to relieve her boredom. Hey, who are you? You look like a human being. Do you want to seduce my cousin and seize my cousin's husband's property? Security Captain Awei looked at Bai Yi unhappily. My cousin was so enthusiastic about this little white face, that wouldn't work. P.S. Thank you for your rewards. Chapter 53 The Changed Plot. Old Master Ren, do you dare to come out? Please read it again, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 53, The Changed Plot. Mr. Ren, do you still dare to come out? Xiao Zhui reading, 4K. Crack. Before Awei could get closer, a bolt of lightning from the sky struck directly at Awei's feet, making Awei tremble. Awei, who suddenly felt that he had lost face, was also a little angry at this moment. He originally came to teach the pretty boy who was close to his cousin, but he was almost hit by a thunderbolt. How could there be thunder on this sunny day? He couldn't figure it out. Just when he wanted to continue to cause trouble for Bai Yi, several thunder and lightning flashed around Awei in the sky. He had never seen such a scene before, and how could he dare to continue to cause trouble for Bai Yi? He wouldn't if you dare to stay here any longer. You will run away dozens of meters. I'm afraid that Bai Yi will be struck to death by lightning later if trouble is not found. This guy is really evil. Awei touched his chin, glanced at Bai Yi, and secretly thought that there really wasn't a magic, right? Fellow Taoist, what are you doing? Uncle Gio hesitated to speak. He could see that the method he used just now was to summon thunder from the sky in the white night. Co-author, you can actually do thunder. He felt ashamed when he thought of telling Bai Yi that Bifan might hurt him. If co-author had really competed with Bai Yi back then, he would have been the one who got hurt, right? Brother Dao, it's just less trouble. For people like Awei, the softer you are, the more he will push your nose and face. Although people who practice Taoism say that killing people will harm their merits and accumulate karma for themselves, Bai Yi will not be like Uncle Gio, and small punishments will not matter. If the thunder before had not scared Awei away, then he would have to treat Awei to a full anesthesia set meal. Alright. Uncle Gio also knows the truth of being young and energetic, not to mention that Bai Yi has not done anything harmful to the world. Uncle Gio is actually unhappy with Awei. He wanted to give Awei a blow for his arrogant look before. Of course, Uncle Gio just wanted to think about it. Master Bai, you are so powerful. Wensai's eyes lit up, and a trace of yearning flashed across his face. He knew very well that this kind of thunder and lightning could not be caused by luck. In addition to what his master said just now, although he was stupid, he also knew that it was caused by Bai Yi. He was able to summon thunder and lightning at will. Even Qiuxing on the side couldn't help but look sideways. He didn't get along with Bai Yi as long as Wenkai, so he often got to know Bai Yi through Wenkai. When Wenkai told him that Bai Yi was powerful, he actually didn't believe it. He is younger than himself, how could he be so powerful? But looking at it now, it seems that he is really better than me. If this hits him like a thunderbolt, he may soon see that he is too naughty. It's fake. How can one control Lei? Rentingting curled her lips, obviously not believing this, but wanted to drag Bai Yi to continue chatting about things abroad. Although she had seen some of the world, she had never been to the West, so she was still curious about what Bai Yi had said before. Master Ren on the side shook his head when he saw this and did not care about it. Instead, he took Uncle Gio and started discussing the next coffin-moving matter. By the way, do all priests talk like this? Rentingting glanced at Uncle Gio who was chatting with her father. She didn't understand any of the ritual burial, the dragonfly touching the water, or the cement roof. She was stunned when Uncle Gio explained it on the side. It's just some professional terms, there's still a lot to learn. Then I think they have been studying for a long time, but they still don't know. They won't be able to finish learning until they die, right? Rentingting was very repulsive to this kind of superstitious thing at first, but after thinking about it, it seemed that it could be regarded as a kind of inheritance, and it did require professionals to do it, so she was not so repulsive. Not every Taoist priest is a talkative person. For example, doesn't Bai Yi know a lot of anecdotes? Picking up the scattered flowers on the ground, Ren Tingting raised it and placed it in the sun, and continued, I want to learn many, many things, but sometimes I always feel that I can't do it, and sometimes I don't know what I want. What, I feel like life doesn't have much meaning. Literary youth. A trace of doubt flashed in Bai Ye's heart. Ren Tingting's mother died young, and her father paid little attention to her because of her business. Also because of her family's business, Ren Tingting had a lot to learn, some of which she was interested in, and some of which she was not interested in, and she can only feel the meaning of her existence when she is studying. Just like makeup, after she learns it, she will also teach it to others. This gives her a sense of accomplishment and is the reason why she keeps learning. Because of this, she actually doesn't dislike Taoist priests. When they met that day, it was because of Wen Kai's rudeness that she wanted to give him a small punishment. It is indeed impossible for a finite life to learn everything in the world. Tangible things will be destroyed sooner or later, while intangible things will be eternal. Or they may have no meaning, but as long as you live, you can find interesting things, just like you discovered flowers. I discovered the same thing about you. Bai Yi said, glanced at Ren Tingting, and continued, you are a very good young talent and should not be buried in a small town. It turned out that I was looking for myself to be a Taoist priest. Ren Tingting thought Bai Yi was going to say something just now. Sorry, my father only has one daughter, so it is unlikely that I will become a Taoist priest. Ren Tingting politely rejected Bai Ye's proposal. She was the only one in her family, and she actually didn't have much interest in Taoist priests. Naturally, it is impossible to abandon everything here and follow Bai Yi up the mountain just because of Bai Ye's words. I can understand. Bai Yi nodded and didn't say anything further. If the other person didn't want to practice, he could find someone else to go up the mountain. The reason why I found Ren Tingting was first of all because her talent was really good, and secondly because I had seen the movie and knew Ren Tingting's general character. She was not the kind of person who would bully her master and destroy her ancestors. People who practice Taoism are most afraid of finding a disciple with bad intentions. With the look and feel in the movie, Bai Yi naturally prefers to find people he already knows roughly. He was a little surprised. He seemed to be no worse than Orochimaru. Why was Orochimaru able to abduct Kimimaro after saying these words? But he couldn't. Fellow Taoist, it looks like the situation is not good. On Uncle Joe's side, the coffin has been raised, and Mrs. Ren inside is obviously one step away from being a zombie. He has sucked the popularity around him today, and will become a zombie soon. Uncle Joe proposed to burn it before, but Master Ren was unwilling. Now there is no way to change the situation there. As for the zombie, I think it might be better to let him come out. Uncle Joe looked at Bai Yi in disbelief. No. You knew it was a zombie and yet you let him come out. It's still a zombie if you bury it again, and it's still possible that it will appear later, so I feel it's better to eliminate it directly. I really don't understand, since we all know that the other person is going to turn into a zombie, why do we still need to bury him? If you bury it in the ground, relying on feng shui and laying out tricks around the coffin can slowly demoralize the zombies in the ground, and then turn into an ordinary corpse again. But the risk is too great, and Master Ren won't allow me to burn the body. Although Uncle Gio wanted to burn it, Master Ren was his client, not to mention Master Ren's strength in Rinjia town. Even if he burned the other party's father's body rashly without getting the other party's permission, it is estimated that no one in Rinjia town will come to him to deal with the matter in the future. What I mean is to just let the old man come out. The two of us will follow him. He will definitely go to Ren's house as soon as he comes out. Once Master Ren sees that his father has turned into a zombie, he will definitely let us kill him. In addition, Brother Dao, don't you think about it, is it possible that this feng shui master asked Master Ren to lift the coffin 20 years ago because he wanted Master Ren and his whole family to die? Maybe Brother Dao, if you bury it and the other party digs it up, wouldn't it be more dangerous then? Bai Ye's words instantly woke up Uncle Gio. Yes. If you just wanted to bring bad luck to the Ren family, it would be impossible to remind Master Ren to dig out the coffin 20 years later. Mr. Ren held his breath before he died. Mr. Feng Shui could not have known this, and he also used this method to make Mr. Ren unable to rest in peace for 20 years. In the past 20 years, Mr. Ren's resentment has only become worse. In addition, the extremely gloomy place in the back mountain is definitely breeding zombies. First let the Ren family suffer for 20 years, and then let the entire Ren family die 20 years later, this method. Uncle Gio couldn't help but feel a little cold sweat. What fellow Taoist said is that I have indeed ignored this point. If Mr. Feng Shui continues to take revenge, then it might be better to just get rid of the zombies. It is true that there are hidden dangers in burying Mr. Ren, so why not just listen to Bai Ye's plan to prevent any future troubles? But we must prevent zombies from hurting people, otherwise the responsibility will fall on us. If the zombies suck human blood and hurt innocent people, which is what they plan to do, then this will be credited to them. Brother Dao, don't worry. I will keep an eye on the zombies all the way to Master Ren's house, but it would be better if Master Ren could come to Yizhuang to watch. In fact, compared to Ren Mansion, Bai Yi wanted Master Ren to come directly to Yizhuang and watch his father come out, and he probably wouldn't stop him by then. It shouldn't be possible. Why is Mr. Ren coming to Yizhuang at night? Let's eat. Master Ren will turn into a zombie tonight. Master Ren is obviously accelerating the pace of Master Ren becoming a zombie in Yizhuang. Just use the meat. Master Ren has never tried it. How about inviting him over? In this way, all accidents can be avoided, and since his relatives are here, Mr. Ren will definitely show up. He has no IQ at this period, now he obeys his instinct. Forget it, I'll go ahead and tell you, otherwise Master Ren will think we are evil later. Bai Yi felt that it would be better to have a showdown with Mr. Ren directly, there's nothing that can't be said. Anyway, they weren't the ones who turned Mr. Ren into a zombie. Fellow Taoist. That fellow Taoist, wait for me. Uncle Joe quickly kept up with Bai Yi. After catching up with Master Ren, Bai Yi glanced at the bearers around him and said, Master Ren, can you say a few words? Good. Master Ren thought for a while and agreed. He still had a good impression of the young man in front of him. After retreating a few people, Mr. Ren looked at Bai Yi and asked, Taoist Master Bai, what can you say? Okay, then I'll say it directly. Master Ren, you should have seen the body of Master Ren just now, right? Is that so? What's wrong? Master Ren's eyes flashed with a hint of strangeness, and then he looked at Uncle Joe again, thinking in his heart, is he here to persuade him to burn his father again? He would definitely not agree. Then Master Ren will become a zombie tonight. I know you will definitely think what I said is ridiculous now, but Master Ren, you can follow us to the charity cemetery tonight. Just one night, if nothing happens, then I will apologize and compensate Master Ren for your losses, how about that? After Bai Yi finished speaking, Master Ren's face flashed with anger. Which good person would be cursed to say that his father would become a zombie? He wanted to say a few Chinese curses, but he was still held back. Master Bai, I respect you, but you can't say such a curse, right? You know in your heart whether Master Ren is cursing or not. The matter of Mr. Feng Shui has not passed yet. We will invite you to dinner at the charity cemetery tonight. We will watch while eating. How about this one night? In addition, I must remind you that if the zombie wakes up, it will first look for its relatives to suck blood. Bai Ye's word succeeded, it is really impossible for Master Ren to say that he is not worried. Okay, if it weren't for Master Bai, you must apologize to me in person with a big gift. In fact, Master Ren did believe it a little, mainly because he had been too unlucky in the past 20 years, just now, Uncle Gio explained that, he already believed it. Similarly, his father has not changed much in the past 20 years, which makes Master Ren a little scared. What's more, he will watch while eating tonight, if there is no problem, then he will be relieved, and then let Bai Yi apologize to him. If there is a problem, then Uncle Gio and Bai Yi will watch on the side. According to Bai Yi, there is indeed a saying among the people that zombies suck blood to find their relatives as soon as possible. No way. Ren Tingting thought about seeing her grandfather's face at that time, if she turned into a zombie. Tingting, come with me, then I may bother Uncle Gio tonight. No problem. After hearing Master Ren's agreement, Uncle Gio was obviously relieved. After all, Master Ren coming here can indeed minimize the danger. Uncle, I will bring the security team to protect you at that time. I don't believe in this kind of thing. I'm afraid that some people want to take advantage of these suspicious things to take advantage of my cousin. Awei, this kid, has been smart since he was a child. He thought that Bai Yi was really cunning, but the smart Captain Awei would not let Bai Yi succeed. P.S. Thank you all for your rewards QAQ. Chapter 54, Working for a Job Really Has No Dignity. Please read it later, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 54, There is no dignity in working. Xiao Zhui reading, 4K. This Awei. Bai Yi glanced at Awei and ignored him. Lei didn't scare him that day last time. Or is it because the cousin is not a human being and it's just that the cousin is too charming? Master Bai, why don't we teach Awei a lesson to vent your anger? After spending the past few days with Bai Yi, Wen Kai admired Bai Yi very much, not only in terms of Taoist skills, but even in terms of physical skills. Even Jiu Shu and Qiu Sheng's combined efforts were no match for him. At the same time, he was also generous with his moves. The other party was able to take out all kinds of things that he had never eaten before and give him a taste. He even had the idea of worshipping him as his adoptive father if he never gave up on him. Oh. How are you going to help me teach him a lesson? After saying that, Bai Yi looked at the two of them with a smile, while Qiu Sheng and Wen Kai were also stunned. In fact, they didn't think about it. As the security captain, Awei must have a gun. They didn't dare to mess with him, but if he used Taoism. Yes, I also want to know how you plan to educate them. Uncle Jiu looked at the two of them with a dead smile. His lungs almost exploded after hearing what they said just now. He didn't even have to think about it to know what methods the two men were planning to use. Teaching them Taoism is not what you want them to do. When a Taoist priest attacks ordinary people, if he does anything wrong, it will damage his moral character. Master, we are just talking, there is nothing we can do. Qiu Sheng quickly defended himself by saying that he didn't dare to touch the bad luck of his master's fierce-faced Shura. Fellow Taoist, we are Taoists. I understand, but you need to be punished. Old Master Ren will transform into a corpse tonight. Just let him suffer a little bit. Bai Yi still had that smiling look on his face, as if he was talking about a very ordinary thing, but in the eyes of Wen Kai and Qiu Sheng, this look was even more terrifying than that of their master. He said such a terrifying thing with a smile, not knowing that if he offended Bai Yi one day, he might not even know how he died. Qiu Sheng and Wen Kai looked at each other, and both of them understood the other's meaning from the other's eyes. Fellow Taoist, this is not good. Uncle Jiu was a little hesitant. If he didn't handle this one well, Bai Yi would have to bear the karma of this zombie killing people. When he designed this matter, Uncle Jiu felt that instead of punishing a villain and causing an accident to happen to him, it would be better to just let it go. Brother Taoist, you don't understand. If you don't give him some color, he won't give up. In the movie, why did Awei change? Isn't it because he was almost bitten to death by the zombie-turned-Master Ren that he changed? In the final analysis, Awei bullies the weak and fears the strong, and he also has a little bit of loyalty, but you have to make him think that you are better than him, otherwise he will keep looking for you. Trouble, just now, Bai Yi thought that the thunder was enough to make Awei feel timid and then retreated, but now it seems that he has thought too much. Awei still needs to let him experience the horror of zombies. Then, fellow Taoist, I will help you keep an eye on the zombies. Brother Dao, you. Bai Yi looked at Uncle Jiu unexpectedly. When he said these words, Uncle Jiu had already shouldered half of his karma. If this thing fails, Uncle Jiu will also suffer the backlash. Disaster comes from the mouth. In the world of monasticism, this is not just talk. It's okay. I believe fellow Taoist can do it. At the same time, I'm actually a little unhappy with that guy. Just now, he kept being interrupted when he was talking. Uncle Jiu also wanted to save face. He kept losing face by doing this. How could Uncle Jiu not be angry? But before, because of his status as a Taoist, he didn't want to care about it, but Bai Yi had already done this, so Uncle Jiu naturally followed. He is notoriously petty. It seems quite interesting to punish Awei. Judging from Bai Yi's previous performance, both of them can deal with a zombie that doesn't suck blood. Then does Master want us to prepare anything? Qiu Sheng asked quickly. He had been unhappy with Awei for a long time, but Uncle Jiu was not sure before, but now he has started to do it again. No, you two don't have to do anything, just protect Mr. Ren and Rentingting. Bai Yi didn't dare to let these two cheaters do anything, maybe these two people were self-defeating in the end, so it would be better to let them do nothing. After hearing Bai Ye's words, the two of them were somewhat interested, their business capabilities are good, so why not let them take action? Qiu Sheng was a little disappointed, but Wen Kai was ecstatic because he could protect Ren Tingting. If a hero could save the beauty, it would not be impossible for her to fall in love with him. Inside the Yizhuang, Uncle Jiu originally planned to use an ink fountain to suppress the zombie today, and then find a cemetery to bury it again. However, after changing the plan, Uncle Jiu also placed the coffin directly outside to let the zombies absorb some of the essence of the sun and moon at night, so that the zombies could come out early. Before it got dark, Mr. Ren took Ren Tingting and Awei's security team to Yizhuang. Mr. Ren was actually unsure in his heart, mainly because his father had not decayed in the past 20 years and had gained weight. He didn't look like a normal person at all. In addition, Bai Yi had said before that if a zombie resurrected, the first person it would bite would be its relatives. As a son, he seemed to be the closest to Renjia town, so the zombies might come to him first, so Mr. Ren came directly before it got dark. Don't worry, Uncle. I'm here today, so there will definitely be no ghosts and gods. Awei patted his chest and promised. As he spoke, he looked at Ren Tingting beside him and asked, Cousin, isn't that right? Ren Tingting was good-looking and the only daughter in the family. If he married Ren Tingting, he would not only have a beautiful wife, but also inherit Mr. Ren's property. Naturally, Awei was very concerned about Ren Tingting. Master, we are here now, hope. Master Ren ignored Awei and looked at Bai Yi and Uncle Jiu. He was about to say something, but it got stuck in his throat. He was actually quite complicated. Master Ren, the food is ready. Thank you for your hospitality last time. This time, I will treat you. As he said that, Bai Yi raised his hand and threw the previously prepared dishes directly from his sleeves onto the table. The three had never seen such a trick before. They rubbed their eyes and looked at the dishes on the table and Bai Yi's sleeves in disbelief. What kind of magic trick is this? Wow! What is this? Ren Tingting suddenly saw the panda standing in front of the table, raising its chubby legs to step onto the table. There were stars in her eyes, and she looked at the cute creature. Iron-eating beast. Master Ren had traveled all over the country, and naturally he had seen iron-eating beasts. He didn't expect Bai Yi to have raised one. I heard that the creature's temper was not particularly good. Well, the iron-eating beast is called Xiaohei, and the dog is called Dahuang. They are the spiritual pets of our Shinchao sect. Bai Yi nodded, then pointed to the dishes on the table and said, These dishes are from other places, you can try them. Then I won't be polite. Wen Kai and Qiu Sheng couldn't bear it anymore. They had eaten these foods once a long time ago, but after that time, they never ate them again. Every time they thought about it, it was as if they had arrived at the peach garden and could never find the peach garden again. TSK, what's so delicious about this, these two country bumpkins? Awei curled his lips in disdain, looking at Qiu Sheng and Wen Cai's wolfing down, his heart was full of contempt. Bandit. It's just a bandit. When can you eat like him in a civilized way? My cousin will definitely not like people who behave like bandits. Thinking of this, Awei also decided to show them what elegance is. Elegance, never out of date. Picking up the chopsticks, Awei casually added a piece of meat to the end. The feeling of melting in the mouth, the crispy and tender taste, and the sweetness of the food were also perfectly preserved. Ah! What kind of divine food is this? Did I, Awei, eat pig food for the first half of my life? Just that one bite, Awei felt like he was in heaven. When he came to his senses, it was not only Wen Kai and Qiu Sheng who were at the table, but the people in the security team were almost fighting. All of you get out of the way, let the captain eat first. Elegant? What is elegant? Awei just wanted to grab 2 more pieces of meat. Is it really that delicious? Ren Tingting has the reserve of a lady, and naturally she would not be vulgar like this group of men, but looking at the looks of Awei and others, Ren Tingting was actually a little tempted. "It's delicious, Tingting, come and eat a piece of meat I picked for you." As he said that, Wen Kai directly stretched out his chopsticks in front of Ren Tingting, and there was still meat on it. Looking at Wen Sai's eager look, Ren Tingting's face flashed a trace of disgust, and she waved her hands repeatedly and said, "No, you can eat it yourself." How dare she eat it? But compared to eating, she prefers the iron-eating beast in front of her. Bai Yi naturally noticed that she wanted to reach out and touch it several times. "Do you know why Xiao He joined our Shinshao sect?" "Why?" Ren Tingting looked at Bai Yi curiously, wanting to reach out and touch Xiao He, but the other party's grinning look really scared Ren Tingting. She also wanted one. "Orcs will never be slaves unless they are provided with food and accommodation. It happens that our Shinshao sect provides accommodation, and the food is not bad. So simple." After hearing Bai Ye's explanation, Ren Tingting's eyes flashed with surprise. She thought it was a very difficult thing. It turned out to be so simple. As long as it was provided with food and accommodation, it seems that her family's conditions are not impossible to raise an iron-eating beast. "Try this first." As he said that, Bai Yi took out a bowl of fresh ingredients and placed it in front of Ren Tingting for her to try. She had been wanting to eat it just now, but because of her girlish modesty, she was reluctant to pick up the chopsticks and tasted it. Suddenly, she knew why the iron-eating beast was willing to go up the mountain. As the only daughter of the Ren family, although the Ren family's business has been declining over the years, Ren Tingting's treatment has never decreased, but has increased instead. Ren Fa is somewhat doting on his daughter. Naturally, in terms of food, Ren Tingting thought that she would never be as unsophisticated as Awei and others. It should be delicious, but not so exaggerated. However, she realized after eating that she had underestimated Bai Yi. This kind of food seemed not to exist in this world at all. "If you join our Shinshao sect, you can pet pandas, that is, iron-eating beasts, and eat these delicious foods for free." So despicable. "Cousin, don't agree." Although Awei was grabbing food, his ears were always paying attention to the surrounding situation. When he heard that Bai Yi actually took out such a despicable threat to get his cousin to join, he almost cried in his heart, "No. Let's grab 2 pieces of meat first." "But I really don't want to be a Taoist priest." Ren Tingting glanced at Ren Fa, and a trace of apology flashed across her face again. In her opinion, a Taoist priest is a swindler. There may be some tricks, but it shouldn't be the same as the legend, right? So, she doesn't want to be a Taoist priest, even with such generous conditions. Besides, her father only has one daughter, and if she becomes a Taoist priest, what will happen to their family? Or should I consider it? Finally, Ren Tingting couldn't restrain her inner desire to feed the iron beast and eat delicious food. She admitted that she hesitated. Looking at her loosened attitude, Bai Yi rubbed his chin with satisfaction, feeling that his corruption plan seemed to be very successful. This was inspired by a certain anime. At the beginning, the heroine was very firm and chose to stand on her husband's side as always, but with the continuous corruption of the other party, coupled with the inner vacillation, from the beginning of this time, to the subsequent sorry husband, I have seemed a bit despicable. However, in the matter of accepting disciples, each sect has more or less so-called indicators. The Taoist tradition needs to be passed on, and the Shinshao sect cannot be directly cut off by himself, otherwise how can he face those big brothers of the Shinshao sect in the future? Moreover, Bai Yi was very curious. If he accepted the heroine in the original movie as his apprentice, would it be considered that he had changed a major plot? "Okay, but I won't stay here for too long, so just give me the answer before I leave." Bai Yi was not in a hurry. Ren Tingting had already fallen for it, and that was enough. He signaled to Xiao He with his eyes. With that knowing look, Xiao He's expression changed from grinning to being naive in less than a second. "So cute, and it doesn't seem to be fierce anymore." Ren Tingting covered her mouth and looked at the iron-eating beast she was touching with some anxiety and disbelief. In an instant, it became very obedient. Disciples in the sect can also watch pandas do backflips. Do they have to sacrifice like this? Xiao He turned his head and looked at Bai Yi in confusion. Suddenly, a picture came to his mind. De Huang stood on 3 watermelons in a golden rooster standing posture, and then he also stood on De Huang's head in a golden rooster standing posture, with another watermelon on his head. She still won't come. Is this what a panda should do? Xiao He felt bitter in his heart. It turns out that working is without dignity. P.S. Thank you for your tips. Chapter 55. Open the door, I am your captain Awei. Please read it again, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 55. Open the door, I am your captain Awei. Please read, 4K. I will think about it, I will give you an answer before you leave. Ren Tingting was extremely entangled, she really couldn't make a decision immediately. On one side is the panda, on the other side is her father. It's so difficult to choose, and Master Ren on the side heard the conversation between the two clearly. Bai Yi did not avoid it, he opened his mouth and wanted to say something again and again. I thought you were a respected Taoist priest, you actually want to kidnap my daughter. He didn't really want Ren Tingting to leave Rinjia town. First of all, because he only had one daughter, he hoped that Ren Tingting could stay here. Secondly, the Ren family needed someone to inherit. If Ren Tingting left, who would take over the Ren family's business in the future? Besides, the profession of Taoist priests is not popular in this era, now it is the world of warlords and rich people. Without guns, nothing can be done. Cousin, I'll see him. Awei wanted to say something, but after seeing Bai Ye's smiling face and being chased by lightning for no reason during the day, he was a little scared in his heart, and finally he didn't dare to say that in front of Bai Yi. Besides, he had just eaten Bai Ye's food, and he decided to say bad things about Bai Yi behind his back. Anyway, Ren Tingting would not leave for a while. Master Ren, do you want to eat something? Eat something. Looking at Bai Yi and then at the coffin placed aside, although Ren Fa had no appetite, he decided to try the meat that they called immortal food. Dao Yu, will it come out in a few hours? Uncle Gio could even feel that the yin qi of the coffin was getting heavier, and the sun had completely set, and he did not take any protection. Because of the popularity absorbed during the day, Master Ren was actually gradually coming back to life. It should be soon, and they may even appear before midnight. There are too many people here. In the movie, old Master Ren relied on Uncle Gio, Wen Kai, and Qiu Xing to recover their popularity in the middle of the night and go out. Now that his relatives are here, old Master Ren in the coffin has been ready to move. It is estimated that he will break out of the coffin without waiting for midnight. Then we need to be prepared. There are too many people here. Although I believe we can definitely deal with it with our strength, it will be bad if we hurt others. There are too many people in the security team, and the other party has guns. Gun is useless against zombies, but it is useful against people. Uncle Gio is afraid that when they see zombies, they will panic and then shoot people to death and disability, and then be harvested by zombies. It will be difficult for them to explain at that time. What does Brother Dao mean? Bai Yi turned his head and looked at the slight sadness in Uncle Gio's eyebrows, and a smile flashed at the corner of his mouth. He probably understood what Uncle Gio was thinking. Is there any way to get the security team to leave, even if they have to go outside? Uncle Gio didn't want so many people in the charity cemetery. First, he couldn't do anything, and secondly, he was afraid that they would make trouble. If they were injured or died, it would be counted on Bai Yi and him. Of course. Bai Yi nodded, then turned his head and looked at Master Ren and asked, Master Ren, there are too many people here. Can you let the security team stay outside and wait, and leave Awei behind? Leave Awei behind? Brother Dao wants you to drive them all away. Uncle Gio smiled bitterly in his heart, and suddenly thought of what Bai Yi said during the day that he wanted to punish Awei. It turned out that you really wanted to do it. But Uncle Gio didn't mean to stop Bai Yi. This? Master Ren hesitated, but Awei patted his chest and assured Master Ren, don't worry, Uncle, even if I'm alone, I can protect you and Tingting. Awei not only didn't stop him, but also asked everyone to go out. He was just about to hug Bai Yi and give him a big kiss. This guy was creating opportunities for himself. When he showed his bravery, Ren Tingting would fall in love with him instantly. Okay, can we let them wait outside the door? Of course, Bai Yi would not refuse this proposal, so, the security team members were also arranged by Awei to go out. At the same time, it was not known whether it was to establish authority or to have a hidden meaning. Before the security team left, Awei also said this: "Listen, no matter who tells you to open the door next time, you are not allowed to open the door." "I know, Captain." Very good. Awei nodded with satisfaction. He would expose Bai Ye's deception today. When he wanted to escape, he would let his men block the door, he would lose face in front of Ren Tingting, he could also strike at the three of Uncle Jio's master and apprentice. Awei saw that when Kai and Qiu Xing both liked Ren Tingting, put all four of them in jail, and then I will win Ren Tingting's heart with my heroic performance tonight and reach the pinnacle of my life. After saying that, Awei found a stool and sat down, and then several people looked at the coffin silently. Time passed bit by bit, and Awei sat aside yawning and counting his fingers in boredom. Not yet. Master Ren took out his pocket watch from his pocket and looked at the time. The closer it was to midnight, the more panicked Master Ren became. He always felt as if something big was about to happen. Thump. Thump. Who? Coffin. While the coffin board was shaking, there seemed to be a sound like a beast roaring inside the coffin. Taoist Master, is it really my father who turned into a zombie? Master Ren quickly grabbed Uncle Jio. He was really scared. He felt lucky in his heart. Fortunately, he came to Yizhuang today. Otherwise, if his own father really came to visit him at night, he didn't dare to think about what would happen to him. Zombies can suck blood. Thinking of this, the master couldn't help but shudder. Taoist Master Bai, is he really my grandfather? Although Ren Tingting is an atheist, the scene in front of her is really terrifying. Yizhuang, coffins, incorruptible corpses and some legends that I have heard before. No matter how much she didn't want to believe it, in the end she was just a little girl, how could she not be afraid? Humph, my cousin, they must be faking it. I'll expose their tricks right now. Awei was so jealous that he wanted to expose Bai Ye's deception. Anyway, he has a gun in his hand, so he doesn't believe that the actor in the coffin dares to do anything to him if he comes out. Taking out the gun from his waist, Wei bravely walked to the coffin, but when he actually walked to the coffin, he felt that his legs seemed a little weak and his hands were a little shaking. And the low roar became clearer as he got closer to the coffin, and he could even hear his own heartbeat. Behind him, Uncle Jio glanced at Bai Yi and saw that he was still smiling and watching the show. He sighed inwardly and put his hands behind his back. In the next second, there was an extra talisman in his hand, ready for any surprises. Just make the first move. Don't worry, he's coming out. Hey, fellow Taoist, I wish I could be as calm as you. A wry smile flashed across Uncle Jio's face, knowing that Bai Yi was trying to comfort him, but he couldn't have such a big heart. This young man is just different. Out. As Bai Ye's words fell, the coffin exploded instantly, and the coffin board that exploded at that moment directly knocked Awei away several meters away. In the coffin, a corpse wearing an upright official uniform stood up instantly from lying down in a very strange movement. With that terrifying face, Master Ren and Ren Tingting felt like their three souls were being scared away. That was Mr. Ren's face. Although it was completely unrecognizable, some traces of the past could still be seen at this moment. I really turned into a zombie. Master Ren murmured, and Ren Tingting on the side was so frightened that she screamed, and this voice and the breath of the family member instantly attracted Mr. Ren. Stop breathing temporarily. The zombie's eyes are invisible. He relies on breathing to determine a person's position. Stop breathing. Bai Yi reminded him softly, it is true that Mrs. Ren is a zombie raised in a feng shui treasure land, but it is still not particularly powerful when it comes out. He didn't drink the blood of the antelope in the movie now, when he was hungry and weak. What should I do, master? Wen Kai looked at Uncle Jio tremblingly. This was the first time he had encountered a real zombie. He had seen Taoist priest Four Eyes drive away corpses before, but that kind of corpse was technically a living corpse and not a zombie. Even those living rocks scared Wen Kai half to death, not to mention the even more terrifying old man Ren in front of him. Stop breathing for a moment. Uncle Jio's method was the same as Bai Ye's. Neither of them had any intention of taking action because they both wanted to teach Awei a lesson, except for Awei, the others also understood it. Awei also started coughing after opening the coffin board. The good luck just now did not cause any internal injuries to him. He picked up the eyes that fell on the ground and put them back on. Before Awei could take a breath, when he saw the terrifying face of the old man in front of him, he instantly went numb. It's actually a zombie. So what about zombies? I don't believe you're not afraid of guns. As he said that, Awei aimed his gun at Mr. Ren. The next second, Awei was dumbfounded. Oh, are you really not afraid? Seeing that Mr. Ren was getting closer and closer to him, Awei climbed up on his hands and knees and looked behind him. He turned to look at Bai Yi and Uncle Jio in panic and shouted, "Uncle Jio, Taoist Master Bai Yi, help me." But when he saw that both of them ignored him, he regretted it. If he had known there were real zombies, how could he dare to be so arrogant? Open the door. Open the door. Running to the door, Awei just wanted to run away. Old Man Ren couldn't find anyone else. Awei was the only one breathing, so naturally he kept chasing Awei. Our captain said that we cannot open the door to anyone who asks us to. Open the door, I am your captain Awei. How could Awei care so much? The zombies were getting closer and closer to him. He admitted that he was afraid, and vowed never to provoke Bai Yi and others again in the future. If he survived this time, he would definitely treat them well. Make amends and apologize. In short, he was about to run away first. When the security guard opened the door, he saw a terrifying zombie heading this way. He was so frightened that he closed the door directly. You fucking opened the door. Awei was about to cry, and at the same time, he felt despair in his heart, no loyalty. These guys just closed the door at the critical moment. Dao Yu, is it almost done? Uncle Jio signaled Bai Yi with his eyes. It was almost over. The punishment was also punished. He couldn't let the zombies kill Awei, right? Seeing Awei's frightened look, he felt that it was almost done. Let me do it. Dao Yu, how about we do it together? Uncle Jio looked at Bai Yi in surprise. It would be safer to deal with it together at this time. Don't forget, we are professional in dealing with zombies. Bai Yi still has enrollment quotas here. If he doesn't show off in front of his future apprentices, the other party probably won't be convinced by him. Seeing Bai Yi's persistence, Uncle Jio stopped talking. He actually wanted to see the magic of Shinshao sect. Although they had heard of it, they really hadn't seen it in this generation. After the dragon vein was cut off, there had been no communication between the Taoist sects for a long time. This is how the Dharma ending age is, everyone is fighting for that first chance. Stupid, if you stop breathing, he won't be able to find you. Bai Yi's voice was like a huge bell, instantly engraved in Awei's mind. Seeing the zombie's claws getting closer and closer to him, Awei didn't care so much, and stopped breathing directly. And the next second the zombie's attack stopped immediately. Old Master Ren had no wisdom, so he naturally couldn't understand, but there was another breath behind him, and at the same time he also felt a very eager impulse. Although he had no wisdom, his instinct drove him to tell him that if he sucked the blood of the man behind him, he would evolve very strongly. Old Master Ren turned around and jumped towards Bai Yi. Master Ren, is it okay to destroy your father's body like this? No problem, whatever you want. A hint of smirk flashed across Master Ren's face. After seeing the terrifying appearance of his father, he dared not continue to stop him. He even wished that Bai Yi would kill his father quickly. The father wants to suck the son's blood, and the son wants the father to die soon. Today is another day of loving father and filial son. In that case, I won't be polite. Bai Yi nodded, then turned his head to look at old Master Ren, slowly raised his hands, and a thunder flashed across the sky, attracting everyone's attention. Especially old Master Ren was frightened and dared not move for a moment. The blue sky is dead, the yellow sky should be established, the year is Jiazi, the world is auspicious, thunder God help me. In the clouds, a thunder fell, and the thunder column swallowed old Master Ren in an instant with Bai Yi's order. All evil things are most afraid of thunder. Fuck. Are you not from Shinshao sect? Taiping Dao. Uncle Gio widened his eyes and rarely swore. P.S. Thank you for your rewards. Chapter 56, Secret. The battle between Taoism and the devil. The curtain falls. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 56, Secret. The battle between Tao and demon. The curtain is coming. Uncle Gio of the Shinshao sect knew about the thunder method, but no one told him that when the Shinshao sect used the thunder method, they would also say that the sky is dead and Huang Tian should stand up. Co-author, you will not be an undercover agent from the Taiping Dao sect to the Shinshao sect. 3 years and 3 years, you have become the leader. So strong. I knew it must be him that day. Awei's eyes widened and his mouth opened in an exaggerated manner. In addition to fear, there was also a trace of yearning in Xiaoxi's eyes. He originally thought that becoming a security captain, armed with a small pistol, and dominating the town would be a very good life. If he could marry Ren Tingting, it would be even better, but looking at it now, compared with those of people who practice Taoism, my life is nothing. Someone summoned a bolt of thunder and lightning, and a zombie turned into ashes and flew away. Under that huge thunder, old man Ren was killed directly without even struggling. Behind Bai Yi, a ring of golden light suddenly appeared, and then a trace of merit power was absorbed into it. One is from destroying zombies, and the other is from saving other people. According to the original fate, Wen Kai and Uncle Gio will be infected with corpse poison, Master Ren will die, and innocent people will be bitten to death by zombies. All of these were changed when Bai Yi killed Mr. Ren, and these were naturally regarded as Bai Ye's merits. Although they were pitiful, they were better than mosquitoes, which were still meat, and Bai Yi doesn't have much thought to deal with this at the moment. He is currently immersed in the changes that merit has brought to him. Perhaps it was because I received the baptism of merit for the first time. Bai Yi was directly promoted from his ability to break through the late stage of foundation building to the late stage. No wonder everyone loves merit. Who doesn't love this thing? The merits materialized, and the golden flash made everyone present yearn for it. There is only one step away from the peak of foundation building. After that, you can be promoted to human master, which can be regarded as completely crossing the threshold of cultivation. On the side, Uncle Gio looked at Bai Yi in shock after seeing the ring of merit. He could actually materialize merit? Could it be that I guessed wrong? With this idea in mind, Uncle Gio raised his hand with some uncertainty and pointed at the ring of merit behind Bai Yi, and asked, "Fellow Taoist, what is this?" "It's just merit. Brother Dao, you should be counted among the negative virtues, right?" Bai Yi did not hide anything, and no one else could take away his merits. Especially those who practiced Taoism knew that the other party was a person with profound merits, but they were unwilling to provoke him, because the karma may not be what he could bear. However, Bai Yi felt that Uncle Gio was different from him. He needed merit to improve his strength in the later period, while Uncle Gio directly became Inda so that he could work in the underworld after his death. Indeed, I'm just a little surprised that Taoist friends' merits can be embodied, and it's really beyond imagination that there is such a way of cultivation in this era. Uncle Gio didn't worry too much. He was just shocked by Bai Ye's ability before. In fact, he also knew that he had some evil intentions in killing the zombies this time, but he didn't know how many there were when he was alive. By the way, fellow Taoist, are you really from Taiping Dao? No, I'm from Shinshao. Shinshao sect. Uncle Gio curled his lips, and there was a murmur in his heart. You were just shouting for fun. If those guys on your head saw this scene today, they would probably hang you up and beat you up when you get up there. But he didn't mean to say what Bai Yi meant. After all, no matter what, this was Shinshao sect's own business. What did Mao Shan have to do with him? Has the problem with my father, Taoist master, been solved? Mr. Ren came back from the shock. Although he saw that his father had been struck by lightning and turned into ashes on the ground, Mr. Ren still remembered the appearance of the zombie just now, so he had to confirm, otherwise he might not be able to sleep well in the future. Master Ren, your father's problem has been solved. You can collect these ashes and bury them again. Don't worry, it's impossible to turn into a zombie. Seeing Master Ren's trembling appearance, Uncle Gyo shook his head helplessly, then picked up the teacup next to him and prepared to take a sip. The next second, Master Ren continued to ask uneasily, will it turn into a ghost? That he hired a Taoist priest to kill his father. If his father turned into a ghost and came to find him, wouldn't he be hurt a second time? Pfft. Uncle Gyo just took a sip of the fine tea Bai Yi gave him, and spit it out in the next second. Ahem. Mr. Ren, don't worry, it's impossible for zombies to turn into ghosts, that they have already turned into zombies, so how can they become ghosts? That's good. That's good. Master Ren didn't pay attention to Uncle Gyo's rudeness at the moment, as long as his father didn't come looking for him. Awei, hurry up and let the security team outside come in, collect my father's ashes, and then get ready to leave, Master Ren said, and then looked at Uncle Gyo sheepishly. I'm sorry, Uncle Gyo, I should have listened to you during the day. If Bai Yi hadn't found him during the day today, his father might have bitten him to death. At that time, Mr. Ren was still very opposed to cremation. Now that he is fine, there is no need for cremation, and his father was completely killed by a thunderbolt. It's okay, as long as Master Ren doesn't blame us. Uncle Gyo waved his hand and didn't care. After all, there are indeed fewer people who believe in ghosts and gods in this era. Uncle Gyo feels very good now that there are no casualties. Then we will leave first, Taoist priest. I will come to thank you in person tomorrow. Ren Fa was exhausted by today's events and wanted to go back and rest. Dad, are we leaving like this? Ren Tingting grabbed Ren Fa's sleeve. She was a little scared. The scene just now was still in her mind. Now it was midnight. What if she met another zombie on the road? Then this. Ren Fa also realized this. Just now he just wanted to go back and rest, but he forgot that this world really has demons and monsters. Why don't we stay overnight in the charity cemetery tonight? Okay. Before Master Ren agreed, Wen Kai jumped up first. If Ren Fa chose to stay here, wouldn't Ren Tingting also stay here? Then excuse me. Uncle Gyo, Taoist Master Bai, I also want to stay here. Don't worry, whatever you say will be what you say. With me, Awei, here, whoever dares to bully you, I will be the first to disagree. Awei fully demonstrated his lackey characteristics. He certainly couldn't leave, and he also had his own little calculations. Taoist friend, how about we continue to discuss Taoism tonight? This place definitely can't accommodate so many people to rest, so Uncle Gyo also decided not to rest tonight, and after seeing Bai Ye's ability just now, he also had the idea of discussing Taoism with Bai Yi again. Good. Master, Taoist Master Bai, can I listen? After this incident, Qiuxing seemed to be more mature. The thunder just now also caused a ripple in Qiuxing's heart. He suddenly felt that his previous idea of slacking off seemed to be a waste of time. He wanted to practice well and become a Taoist like Bai Yi. Taoist friend? Yes, Bai Yi was a little surprised. Could the naughty apprentice in the movie mature so quickly? Isn't it just a momentary passion? Bai Yi didn't care, he was just talking about Taoism. Tingting, you should go and listen too. Ren Fa pushed Ren Tingting. Although he was reluctant, he had made a decision. He didn't want to tie Ren Tingting down because of himself. After seeing the power of the Taoist priest, he also knew that Ren Tingting would be just a businessman all her life with him. At most, she would marry a warlord and become a concubine. If she was worse, Ren Fa didn't dare to think about the fate of a beautiful woman in this chaotic world, and at least Bai Yi could protect Ren Tingting, and after experiencing this zombie incident, Ren Fa also knew that it was likely that his father was tricked by a feng shui master, so he turned into a zombie. The Taoist priest's revenge method made Ren Fa feel cold in his heart. First, let the Ren family be unlucky for 20 years, and then let his father turn into a zombie to bite the whole family to death, so that the Ren family was wiped out, and they were all killed by old Master Ren. This is somewhat chilling. Dad, I know what you want to say. Father is not old yet. Taoist Bai said before that you are suitable for cultivation, so I feel more at ease if you follow Taoist Bai. Ren Fa grabbed Ren Tingting's hand, then turned his head and looked at Bai Yi solemnly and said, "Taoist Bai, I promised on behalf of Tingting, you take her to the mountain." "No, I won't accept it if she doesn't agree." Bai Yi waved his hand. He didn't need Mr. Ren's consent. He needed Ren Tingting to be willing. If she was forced to go up the mountain, then she might as well not join the Shinchao sect. "Taoist Bai, can I go down the mountain later?" Ren Tingting gritted her teeth. If she couldn't go down the mountain in this life, then even if she knew that this might be one of her few opportunities, she would still give up, because she wouldn't just abandon her father. "Of course, I'm not asking you to stay in seclusion. I'll go down the mountain occasionally." Listening to Bai Ye's explanation, Ren Tingting was completely relieved. Then she took a step forward and prepared to bow to Bai Yi, but was stopped by Bai Yi the next second. "Don't become a disciple here. Wait until you return to Shinchao sect and bow in front of all the ancestors." Becoming a disciple is not just kneeling down and saying "Master." All sects must accept disciples in front of the tablets of the sect's ancestors and inform the ancestors. Otherwise, if she accepts disciples privately, Ren Tingting will not be recognized by Shinchao sect. "Okay, don't make such a gesture. Those who are willing to stay can stay, and those who want to rest can rest." As he said this, Bai Yi didn't care about other people. This exchange with Uncle Jiu also made Bai Yi understand some of the merits of Mao Shan. Both sides are very interested in each other's various ways. In fact, what Bai Yi is most curious about is what Uncle Jiu's strength is. There must be a human teacher, but the strength of the human teacher seems to be a little difficult when dealing with old Master Ren, which seems to be a little wrong, but thinking about it, it seemed that it was easy to deal with it at the beginning, but it became very difficult after old Master Ren experienced a transformation. After the two discussed the Tao, they also turned the topic to other things. "Dao Yu, there is still a monster and a female ghost around you. Do you want to get rid of them all?" That the female ghost Dong Xiaoyu and the chimpanzee are all ready-made merits. "Are there still monsters around us?" That he has been in Rinjia town for many years, and he really didn't know that there were monsters and ghosts nearby. Bai Yi had only been here for a short time, but he already knew everything about the area. "Yes, a gorilla monster, in the back mountain, and a female ghost named Dong Xiaoyu, just save her." "Okay, I'll go with you tomorrow." Uncle Jiu nodded, and also wanted to see the monster and the female ghost that Bai Yi mentioned. Awei, who was standing by, saw that there was an opportunity to show his courtesy, and quickly stood up and said, "I'll go with you, and our security team can help find it." He was so eager, naturally, to make Bai Yi look at him with a new eye. If he could accept him as his apprentice in the future, then wouldn't he and Ren Tingting become senior and junior brothers, or at least senior and junior brothers? "Hey, Uncle Jiu, I have a question. Since this zombie was cultivated by the Feng Shui Master, will he come to collect it?" Feng Shui Master is a character that does not appear in the movie, but since there is such a good cemetery that cultivated a zombie like Ren Wei Yong, then he naturally can't just abandon it. Either he is dead, or he was killed by Uncle Jiu before he could retrieve it. But no matter which one, Mr. Feng Shui is always a hidden danger. Since he designed old Master Ren 20 years ago, he has fallen into evil ways. No way. That Feng Shui is not dead yet. Mr. Ren wanted to rest, but he was ready to listen to what Bai Yi and Uncle Jiu were talking about, so he stayed here. Unexpectedly, he heard this news. I don't know if he is dead, but since he cultivated old Master Ren, he may have fallen into evil ways. Most people in evil ways will prolong their lives, so no one can be sure. That if you want to say who is most reluctant to die, it is naturally the evil ways. And after the good cemetery was robbed, Mr. Feng Shui might really have gone to another path from that moment, but this was also caused by old Master Ren. Don't panic, it's just a guess. Fellow Taoist, I think this is indeed something that needs attention. Maybe you haven't been down the mountain for a long time, so you are not very clear, but we in Mao Shan and Longhushan have already noticed the existence of some evil ways. They are very dangerous. Uncle Jiu looked at Bai Yi with a serious face and said, in addition to Master Ren, there were only Qiu Sheng, Wen Kai, Awei, and Ren Tingting present. The rest of the security team went to rest. Uncle Jiu thought about it and did not hide it. Although Awei had no moral integrity, he was not a bad person. Master Ren might be the one who was retaliated against. Ren Tingting was Bai Ye's disciple, so Uncle Gio was also prepared to reveal some of this matter. Those evil ways have become a trend now. Hundreds of years ago, the battle between Taoism and demon ended with the victory of Taoism and the large-scale cleansing of the demon way. However, in Qing, the demon way seems to have revived again, and in this chaotic era, the demon way seems to be even more rampant, and it is not even prepared to hide. Maybe it's because the world is too chaotic, or maybe it's something else. Uncle Gio is not sure. Anyway, at this time Bai Ye actually needs to fight for himself. Bai Ye's strength is very strong. I'm afraid, the battle between Taoism and demon is about to begin again. P.S. I was delayed by some things during the day, and I'm working hard to write now. I will update it after it is released, don't worry. Chapter 57, Lucky Draw. Absolutely amazing rewards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 57, Lottery. What an incredible reward. Brother Taoist, in fact, according to my opinion, this is the choice of the world. Bai Ye sighed. After all, there are many more evil ways in this world since Lu Bowen cut the dragon vein, because the spiritual energy of cultivation is drying up. If a genius like Uncle Gio were in other dynasties, he might have become a heavenly master long ago. However, as the spiritual energy becomes more and more scarce, many people also have evil thoughts. Either they don't want to die, or they want to speed up their cultivation. In short, the evil way relies on less spiritual energy than the right way in cultivation, but most of the evil ways will do things that are harmful to nature, and many things that speed up cultivation require human lives. Do fellow Taoists still understand evil ways? Uncle Gio looked at Bai Ye in surprise, and Bai Ye shook his head when he saw this, and quickly explained, no, it's just that there will only be more and more evil ways in this world, but if there is any need, I will take action. Killing Evil Dao himself has merit, and Bai Ye probably guessed that Mr. Feng Shui is probably not dead. Judging from the performance of Mr. Ren in the movie, he is simply not good enough to evolve into this ghostly appearance. At first, Mr. Ren was very weak, but later he sucked the blood of several people and the blood of a gorilla. Even with the blood of relatives and monsters, it is simply unbelievable that a zombie can evolve intelligence. This little blood is completely beyond the evolution of zombies. According to this speculation, when old Mrs. Ren was seriously injured, someone must have provided nutrients to old Mrs. Ren, which fattened old Mrs. Ren. Later, Mrs. Ren appeared with eyes that could see and also had an IQ. If it weren't for the four-eyed Taoist priest and the kerosene lamp, it is estimated that several people would have fallen into the hands of Mr. Ren. I have a question about that, Master. Chioshin quickly raised his hand to ask. Explain. Uncle Gio nodded with satisfaction. Regardless of Chiu Sheng's whim, he was very satisfied with Chiu Sheng's attitude now. Master, why do you practice evil ways? The evil way will be hunted down by the right way, so it is better to practice the right way. Bodies are divided into zombies, and people are divided into good guys and bad guys. A corpse becomes a zombie because it has an extra breath, and a person becomes a bad guy because he fails to live up to his expectations. Uncle Gio raised his eyebrows and almost got angry at Chioshin's stupid question. This apprentice really asks questions for himself. Even a fool knows how to answer them, right? Actually, the evil way can lead to quick success, but it will make you look like a human being or a ghost, so some people will choose the evil way if they want to take shortcuts. Mr. Feng Shui, for example, was actually forced by Mr. Ren. If Mr. Ren didn't threaten him, maybe Mr. Feng Shui would have been buried long ago. Listening to Bai Ye's words, Mr. Ren could only smile coquettishly, then raised his hand and made a gesture of swearing, saying, "Don't worry, Taoist Bai, I will start doing good things after I go back tomorrow." Compared to his father, although Mr. Ren didn't do many good deeds, he didn't do any bad things either. Now he is not only trying to atone for his father's sins, but also saving some merit for Ren Tingting. Anyway, Ren Tingting went to practice Taoism, and the Ren family didn't have much to worry about after that. Master Ren, I'll give this to you. It's my apprenticeship gift to Tingting. This talisman can keep you safe, and when the talisman is destroyed, I will sense it and come to save you. Mr. Ren probably only has Mr. Feng Shui as his enemy, Bai Yi handed a talisman to Mr. Ren. Next time if Mr. Feng Shui went to find Mr. Ren, he would be able to deal with him easily. If not, then this kind of talisman could also give Mr. Ren some comfort. Thank you, Taoist Master. Master Ren carefully took the talisman handed over by Bai Yi. Awei on the side also looked at Bai Yi eagerly, hoping that Bai Yi could give him one, but Bai Yi pretended not to see it. Wei doesn't have many enemies. Even if he has enemies, he will die by himself. Giving him will only encourage Awei's arrogance. The plan failed. Your zombie was killed just after it appeared. In a cave not far from Rinjia town, several men in black were gathering together to discuss something. One of them made a joke to a skinny old man. Originally, I came here this time to recover the super zombies he planted. Mr. Feng Shui has been looking forward to the kind of zombies cultivated by good tombs for a long time, but this time, before he could implement his plan, the other party had already eliminated the zombies. Shinshao sect. Don't you plan before you act. That brat's lightning method can restrain zombies. That zombie does have potential. I've seen it before, but how powerful will it be when it's just born? Ren Weiyong does have potential, everyone knows this, but he has not even grown, so his potential is useless. But there's nothing we can do about it. Who would have known that just after they dug out the coffin, they took Ren Fa to Yizhuang and waited for Ren Weiyong to come out. Mr. Feng Shui secretly resented that if he had known that he should have dug up the grave, then at least he would have been able to take Ren Weiyong away and be enslaved for eternity. Mr. Feng Shui hated Ren Weiyong. If he had not been buried in that cemetery, his descendants would be protected by him in the future. But after Ren Weiyong snatched that cemetery, his life trajectory changed. Completely changed. He changed from a righteous person to an evil one, and became a person that everyone wanted to kill. Because of his evil practice, his son, daughter-in-law and grandson all died. He naturally wanted to make the Ren family suffer the same fate as himself. He wanted to wipe out the Ren family, but he didn't expect that the matter would be resolved like this. Lin Jiu of Maoshan and the head of Shinshao sect are here. This operation failed, and Ren Weiyong is gone. Let's go. Since the matter here is completely over, there is no need to stay here any longer. Hearing this, Mr. Feng Shui was also a little unwilling. Can't we do it together? If those two Taoists are refined into zombies, won't they be more powerful than Ren Weiyong? Are you crazy? We are not fighting the Taoist sect head-on now. You don't need to rush to take revenge. We brought enough money before, originally to feed the zombies, but since the zombies are dead, we will only be exposed if we go there, so why not leave this for the royal family in the border? One of them changed his face and directly rejected Mr. Feng Shui's proposal. Nowadays, although they have a tendency to rise, and the Taoist sect is constantly declining, they will inevitably decline with them. This is caused by the times. By the way, there are still those generals who can try to control them. No matter how powerful the Taoist priests are, they are afraid of guns. We should take advantage of this, that the leader is obviously the leader. Even if Mr. Feng Shui is unwilling, he can only obey the arrangement. If you want to take revenge, you can wait for the Shinshao sect to leave before taking revenge. Anyway, Ren Fa will not leave, and Lin Jiu can't always watch the other party. He can find an opportunity at any time. There is no need to take action at this time. By the way, we have to recover the bronze armor corpse and the Miaojiang zombie as soon as possible, otherwise it will be noticed by the Taoist people, and the loss will be great. Compared with Ren Weiyong, the other zombies are obviously more worthy of their attention. I know, I will wait for them to leave before taking revenge. Okay, then let's leave here first. As they said, several people hurriedly followed the knight and left Rinjia town. Before leaving, Mr. Feng Shui took one last look at Rinjia town, and secretly swore in his heart that when he came back next time, he would definitely massacre the entire Ren family. The next day, Bai Yi and Uncle Jiu came to the back mountain, first to save Dong Xiaoyu and send her to the underworld, and then when dealing with the gorilla, Uncle Jiu felt that the other party had not done anything bad, and his heart was not bad, but he was just hiding in the mountains to practice. so he took the gorilla back to the charity cemetery, mainly because of seeing the two human-like pets raised by Bai Yi. Uncle Gio was a little envious. Since the disciples are unreliable, I will adopt a monster, and Ren Tingting went home to pack up and prepare to leave Renjia town with Bai Yi. Tingting, listen to the teacher more in the mountains, okay? Ren Fa reminded him. He knew that Ren Tingting was spoiled by him, and sometimes she would have a little temper, but she must not offend her teacher after going up the mountain. Dad, don't worry. I know. I will practice well with the teacher. You should take good care of yourself at home. Since Ren Tingting decided to go up the mountain with Bai Yi, she was naturally ready to practice, and she was very impressed by Bai Yi's move at the beginning. It turned out that all this was not fake, and the Taoist magic was really so desirable, and the most important thing is that practice can keep youth forever. Even if it can't, it can delay aging and make yourself live longer. No woman can refuse eternal youth, especially like Ren Tingting. That's good. I feel relieved that you think so. Then Tingting, go quickly, don't let Master Bai wait for too long. Ren Fa called his old friend to get on the carriage with him. Along the way, Ren Fa felt reluctant, but he was more relieved in his heart. At least he didn't need to worry about his daughter in the future. It was much safer to follow Bai Yi than to follow himself. He would be a kind-hearted person in the future to atone for what his father had done. Dao Yu, I don't know when we will meet again after we part today. Although he and Bai Yi have only known each other for a few days, Uncle Gio feels that they met too late. Now that Bai Yi is gone, he is reluctant to let her go. I believe it won't be long. This time I will take Tingting to the sect to become a disciple and inform the ancestors. Later, I will take Tingting down the mountain to practice. For merit or to change the plot, Bai Yi will definitely not stay on the mountain forever. Then I won't bother you anymore. Brother, come to Shinshao sect as a guest when you are free. Definitely. Looking at the backs of Bai Yi and Ren Tingting leaving, Uncle Gio agreed, and at the same time turned around and patted Wen Kai and said, let's go. What are you looking at? Everyone is gone. Don't think about her in the future. Ren Tingting's talent is much better than yours. This foolish apprentice of mine. It is destined that this life will be love but not love. Ren Tingting's cultivation talent is much higher than Wen Kai, and the gap between the two sides will only get bigger and bigger. Wen Kai came back to his senses, turned around and asked with a bitter face, Master, what should I do? But he was really unwilling to give up. Of course I give up. My cousin will definitely be with me in the future. Awei said, and knelt down in front of Uncle Gio. Uncle Gio, please accept me as your apprentice. I can do anything you want me to do. If you don't agree, I will kneel down forever. Awei actually thought about becoming Bai Yi's apprentice before, and he also proposed this idea at that time. He was about to kneel down. If Bai Yi didn't agree, he would keep kneeling. As a result, after he finished speaking and met Bai Yi's smiling eyes, he admitted that he was a coward. Although he didn't become a senior sister and junior brother with Ren Tingting, Awei decided to take a roundabout tactic and become Uncle Gio's apprentice. As long as he can enter the door of cultivation, there may be a chance in the future. If he can't succeed in becoming an apprentice, then he will at most be the security captain of Renjia town in this life. Then you kneel down. After saying that, Uncle Gio turned around and went back to his room and ignored Awei, and Awei was in a dilemma at this moment. If he stood up like this, he would look down on himself, so, he knelt like this, even though the sky gradually began to rain. Until the next day, Awei felt as if he was put on the bed in a daze. Will this kid Awei be our junior brother in the future? Then I can bully him. He accepted as a disciple by Uncle Gio. That's the best. Before Awei could think more, he fainted. Inside the Shinshao sect. After completing the final apprenticeship, Ren Tingting officially became a disciple of the Shinshao sect. Ding. The plot has been changed successfully. Congratulations to Bai Yi of the zombie world for getting a chance to draw a lottery. Do you want to draw? Yes. Bai Yi silently thought in his heart, and then the big turntable appeared. Then, after the big turntable rotated hundreds of times a second, the speed of the big turntable began to slowly fall back after 10 seconds, and finally stopped on the Xiantian Tao body. Xiantian Tao body. A trace of shock flashed in Bai Ye's eyes. The legendary physique that is most suitable for practicing Taoism is also the physique possessed by the clay figures that Nguyen Yang Yang originally pinched. Legend has it that people with this Tao body are like practicing on an airplane. After the fusion of the physique, Bai Yi felt a warm current passing through his body, and then he broke through again. The strength reached the peak of foundation building, and he was only one step away from reaching the realm of human master. Teacher, what's wrong with you? Ren Tingting raised her head and looked at Bai Yi with some doubts. His fiery eyes made her feel a little embarrassed. Tingting, you are really my lucky star. If it weren't for the need to maintain the most basic etiquette of a cultivator, Bai Yi would have almost jumped up to celebrate. This physique is definitely the most suitable physique for a cultivation baby. But the next second, Bai Ye's face fell. Chapter 58, Shisui's Fantasy, Further Deterioration of the Relationship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 58, Shisui's Fantasy, Further Deterioration of Relationship. The innate Taoist body can indeed increase the speed of one's cultivation, but it also has a disadvantage, that is, the demand for spiritual energy is greater than that of ordinary cultivators. In the past, this was naturally not a disadvantage, or even an advantage. The spiritual energy absorbed by others in 1 hour is counted as 1, and then the amount of spiritual energy absorbed by others is 10, or even more. Isn't that advantage reflected? But in this era, the lack of spiritual energy is simply not enough to ensure that one has sufficient spiritual energy. Then, my first priority is to make merit and find a paradise and a place with sufficient spiritual energy. Although the dragon's veins were cut off and the spiritual energy continued to dry up, there might still be some cave heavens and blessed places in this world that had more spiritual energy. Moreover, the advantage of the innate Tao body lies in absorption, so the large amount of spiritual energy required is not the problem of the innate Tao body. On the contrary, it is its own problem. It cannot find so much spiritual energy for the innate Tao body to absorb, and if you can get the treasures of heaven and earth, the degree of absorption will be much higher than that of ordinary physiques. For practicing Taoism, I am also faster. Generally speaking, except for the need for more spiritual energy, it is currently all advantageous to me. As long as I can find a place with more spiritual energy, this only problem will be solved. Teacher, what's wrong with you? Bai Ye's state also shocked Ren Tingting. Just a moment ago, Bai Yi still had an eager expression on her face, but the next second her face fell, and she couldn't help but feel a little nervous in her heart. Could it be that you made the other party dissatisfied? It's okay, I just suddenly thought of something. Now that you have started, what do you want to practice? Our Shinshao sect specializes in the 5 thunder methods. We also have alchemy, talismans, sword techniques, formations, etc. What do you want? Fix what? Any Taoist can become an immortal. The Shinshao sect specializes in the method of 5 thunders, but also takes into consideration other things. Now that Ren Tingting has started, Bai Yi is naturally ready to teach her spells, but before that, what will Ren Tingting choose? Master, do you want me to choose? Ren Tingting originally thought that she would practice whatever Bai Yi taught her. That's right, when it comes to learning, it's best to be interested in it. The 5 thunder methods are something every Shinshao sect needs to master. Besides the first time, I will also teach you another one. You can't chew off more than you can chew. Choose one that suits you. As long as you get started with thunder method, you need to learn it, so this is a must-teach. Apart from this, the others are all minors and can be taken according to Ren Tingting's interests. How about a talisman? Ren Tingting hesitated for a while between the talisman and sword tactics, and then decided to focus on the talisman. The reason for the sword technique is that she feels very handsome, and she can control the thunder and lightning. The thunder dances with her sword, and she also likes it very much, but after taking it all together, she finally chose Fu Lu, because during the previous chat between Yizhuang Bei and Zhou Shu, she also knew that her father might still be in danger. Bai Yi gave her father talismans before, so she also hopes to embark on the path of talismans. If she can make talismans in the future, she will give some to her father when she goes down the mountain. The way of talismans is difficult, are you sure? Bai Yi glanced at Ren Tingting in surprise and saw her nodding firmly. as if she had already thought about it, she has decided. Okay, then my master will teach you the method now. Zombie Bay, finally she has accepted a disciple. The teaching is over. From now on, it's up to her to make her own destiny. The so-called master leads the way, and practice depends on the individual, although Bai Yi will give some advice later. In terms of cultivation, most of it depends on Ren Tingting herself. Gangue Bei, how about the innate Taoist body you drew? Zombie Bei, don't think about it, it requires too much spiritual energy. If you win, I don't even dare to think about how you can absorb spiritual energy in modern times. After all, I still have some spiritual energy here. In modern times, there really wasn't much left at that time. If he was given another innate Tao body, it would be purely a side effect. Gangue Bei, that's right. Modern Reiki is indeed a matter of distress. Monster Bai Yi, actually, wait for Bai Yi in the world of cultivating immortals, then spiritual energy will not be a problem. The world of cultivating immortals is full of spiritual energy. Zombie Bei, that's true. By the way, I may not be practicing 8-door Duanjia recently. I just have an innate Taoist body and am ready to practice in seclusion. His innate Tao body had just arrived and he wanted to practice some experiments. Daily Bai Yi, it's okay, I'm exercising every day now. Naruto Byakuya, everyone is really working hard. Pirate Byakuya, have you disappeared recently? What did you do? Naruto Byakuya, get ready to rebel against Shisui, the 25th son. After the last conversation, I feel that Shisui guy may have loosened his mind, and Danzo is starting to make moves again. What can he do recently? The Uchiha incident had already made him a little exhausted. After becoming the clan leader, not only do you have to face things in the clan, there are also many things in the clan that you need to deal with. Although he succeeded in taking back the land that originally belonged to the Uchiha clan, he also won a lot of favor among the Uchiha people, but the situation within the clan is still very anxious. Monster Bai Yi, you should be almost ready to move, right? If he had been a little more cautious at the beginning, now that he has the Mangekyo and the sage body, it seems that there is no need to wait any longer. Hokage Byakuya, we are taking action. I will tell you later. In the current situation, it is basically impossible to end the Konoha F4 without solving it. We are completely at odds with each other. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen had been hesitant about destroying the Uchiha clan. After all, it is a very strong family, and the blood limit is also very powerful. If he takes action, it will definitely affect Konoha. He just wants to weaken the Uchiha clan so that he can control the other party, but after the last incident, Sarutobi Hiruzen seems to have made up his mind to take action against the Uchiha clan. However, he has not taken action for the time being because the price he has paid is too high. Once he finds an opportunity and can avoid being accused of destroying the Uchiha clan, he will take action, and this has entered the second round of the game between the Uchiha clan and Konoha, and this is Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi. At the beginning, Uchiha Fugaku arranged for the two to join the Umbu. On the one hand, he wanted to ease the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha, and on the other hand, he wanted Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi to obtain some information about Konoha in the Umbu. As a result, the two turned around and directly joined Konoha. Now because they were defeated by Bai Yi, but it was also because they jumped down, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't get angry, and he was the Hokage who needed to maintain his image, so naturally he couldn't directly attack the Uchiha clan at this time. So, he also locked his eyes on Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi. Now he can only know the situation of the Uchiha clan from these two people. Clan leader, you are looking for me. Shisui respectfully opened the door and looked at Bai Yi with some surprise. After the last conversation, Bai Yi seemed to have not looked for him for a long time. He actually kept thinking about whether what he did at the beginning was right. Shisui didn't want to see Konoha and Uchiha suffer casualties. However, with Bai Yi coming to power, this trend seems to be becoming more and more impossible. At first, Shisui had the idea of giving Bai Yi another god, but during the conversation with Bai Yi, he felt that Bai Yi's words made sense, and he seemed very naive, and this time, Bai Yi called him alone, but not Itachi. Although Shisui was a little confused, he still came. He was not worried that Bai Yi would do anything to him. This was the Uchiha clan, and he was a clan member after all. Bai Yi would not do anything to him. He was curious about why he wanted to send Itachi away. In the entire clan, everyone actually understood that his position and Itachi's position were actually the same, right? Probably. Shisui, sit down. This time I came to you to ask you about your views on the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha. Last time, I kept talking about my views, and it seems that I have ignored your ideas. In the final analysis, compared with the filial son, Shisui is a saint, but he will never think of exterminating the Uchiha clan. There are two reasons why Bai Yi did not go to the Xiaozi but to Shisui. First, the Xiaozi is too extreme compared to Shisui. Second, the Xiaozi is now Shisui's follower, and he has not said that he will not go to him to find a follower. My opinion. Shisui looked at Bai Yi with some surprise. Last time, he actually proposed some ideas, but after Bai Yi's comments, he didn't dare to say anything. Now the reason why Bai Yi came to him was to ask for his opinion. Why? Am I the kind of person who doesn't listen to opinions at all in your heart? Bai Yi said, putting a cup of tea in front of Shisui's table, then took a sip of tea from the cup in his hand, waiting for Shisui's answer. Chief, can't Uchiha and Konoha really live in peace? My opinion is that everyone can sit down and talk, and don't have a conflict. Other clansmen think that I surrender to Konoha, but who knows, once we resist, Konoha's strength will destroy our Uchiha clan easily, right? Shisui said, with a bitter smile on his face. He felt like he was neither a man nor a man. He had been working hard for his people and kept saying that he wanted to resist, but did he have the strength to resist? They were all arrogant and had no idea of Konoha's strength. Their clan was surrounded by other ninja clans. Once they rebelled, other ninja clans would encircle and suppress the Uchiha clan, and the final result would be destruction. Shisui, I agree with your idea, but don't you realize that you have been deceived by Konoha? Shisui's deception plan is online. This time, he went to Shisui alone to prevent the Xiaozi from interfering with him. Besides, the relationship between Konoha and Uchiha is imminent now. If he doesn't take action, then Sarutobi Hiruzen will probably take action, and Shisui is definitely more important to him than the Xiaozi. First of all, the Xiaozi currently only has 3 Magatama. The Xiaozi opened the Mangekyo when Shisui entrusted the Mangekyo and then jumped off the cliff. After stopping this, the Xiaozi might not be able to open the Mangekyo. A 3 Magatama wants to compete with the Mangekyo, unless it is released by the sea. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo could fool Shisui. Bai Yi didn't believe that he couldn't do it. Am I deceived by Konoha? Jisue raised his head and looked at Bai Yi with some doubts, and murmured, a little unclear. All he knew was what he saw. It seemed that no one was deceiving him, right? First of all, Shisui, you said you wanted the Uchiha clan to talk to Konoha. I want to ask, who initiated it? Of course it's you two, Hokage-sama and clan leader, Shisui said, then seemed to think of something, and continued, besides, we also took back our own clan land last time. Isn't this enough? What originally belonged to our Uchiha clan has also been taken back. From Shisui's point of view, when they experienced the Nine-Tails Rebellion, the clansmen thought that this matter had a lot of opinions on Konoha. In addition, they were squeezed out later, so the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha became tense. Now that they have taken back the clan land that originally belonged to them, shouldn't it be enough? Could it be that Byakuya, like other Uchihas, hopes to become Hokage? So after I took back the clan land that originally belonged to us, didn't you notice it, Shisui? There seem to be more rumors about us in the village recently. Who do you think is responsible for such rumors? After taking back their clan land, there was more talk about the Uchiha clan. You don't even need to think about it to know who is doing this. I've heard that. But that's not the case. I believe it won't be long before the people in the village know that we didn't take this by force, Shisui said, looking a little excited. He had heard about the rumors in the village. Even on the road, he felt other villagers pointing at him. Coupled with the recent inactivity of the security team, the people in the village seemed to have greater dissatisfaction with the Uchiha clan, and this rumor is that Uchiha used rebellion as a threat to threaten Lord Hokage and return the clan land that originally belonged to them. In the end, Hokage, Hinata, and Ino Shikacho took the overall situation into consideration, and in order to prevent the safety of the villagers from being threatened, so I chose to compromise. Although it sounds ridiculous, the rumors spread more and naturally more and more people choose to believe the rumors. This is also what Byakuya has been dealing with recently, another round of games, and even because many villagers pointed fingers at their Uchiha clan on the road, the normal lives of many Uchiha clan members were also affected. As for Shisui's naive idea, Baiyi was somewhat scornful. This is already the case, are you still lying to yourself? It seems that I can only mercilessly expose Shisui's fantasy by myself. Chapter 59 The so-called Will of Fire is bullshit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 59, The so-called Will of Fire is just a fart. Shisui, in fact, your focus should not be on how to prove our innocence to the villagers. That's right. Now, under the guidance of public opinion, the Uchiha clan has become my guilty representative, and Shisui seemed to follow this inherent thought. Is this how we let our clansmen be misunderstood? Jisue looked at Baiyi with some confusion. He didn't understand why Baiyi said this. This was different from Baiyi's previous style of doing things. Even if you don't take action, you shouldn't let the tribesmen be misunderstood, right? What we have to do is not to prove our innocence, but to let those guys prove our guilt. Your thinking is wrong. Just like you have been saying before, we want to prove that the Uchiha clan has no intention of rebellion, but why should we prove it instead of asking them to provide evidence that we want to rebel? Why do you have to prove your innocence? Shouldn't others be required to produce evidence of their guilt to prove their guilt? And if the other party says that the Uchiha clan is a destabilizing factor, they will rebel, then Jisue is anxious to prove that the Uchiha clan is not an unstable factor and will not rebel. Why? But Jisue was speechless for a moment, not knowing how to answer Baiyi, and he was also shocked by his words. Yes. He had been thinking before that he had to prove to others that Uchiha had no ambitions and had never thought of rebellion, but what proof do they have? While Shisui was still doubting his past, Byakuya secretly thought that the opportunity had come, and continued to lie. So, it has always been Konoha that really doesn't want to live in peace. Haven't you noticed that these rumors have always been spread among the villagers first? Is it spreading inside? Are we, the Uchiha clan, stupid enough to spread this among the villagers? The most disgusting thing is that the spread of rumors is not limited to civilians. In fact, Uchiha didn't particularly care about the fact that the villagers themselves didn't like Uchiha. However, some of the villagers will become civilian ninjas, or which of their relatives will become civilian ninjas. In fact, there are many civilian ninjas in Konoha, so to a certain extent, this actually affects Uchiha and civilian ninjas. The relationship between, I have not had a good impression of Uchiha since I was a child. After becoming a ninja, even though I have the ability to distinguish right from wrong, I still don't want to have contact with him. Similarly, other families in the village also offended many family relationships because of their title as the first Uchiha family, their usual style of doing things, and the police force. Therefore, the family ninja's instinct is to have a trace of malice towards the Uchiha clan. Look at it this way. Rumors have shattered the civilian ninja's favorable impression of the Uchiha, and the police force and some family interests have shattered the family's favorable impression of the Uchiha clan. This directly made Uchiha an isolated and helpless existence in Konoha. Does it feel familiar? Ever since the death of Konoha White Fang, those people have been very good at manipulating public opinion. Didn't the departure of the Sannin also cause some public opinion in the village? Before Orochimaru left, he had always been with the group. There is a deep cooperation, and there is a better example in the village now, that is Naruto, the guy called the Demon Fox. You know whose child that person is, right? Why is he called the Demon Fox? It's widely spread in the village, and it's not stopped. Who really doesn't want to live well? Tell me. By the end of Baiye's words, he became more and more excited and slapped the table, staring at Shisui with sharp eyes. Who doesn't want the Uchiha clan and Konoha to live in peace? This method of manipulating public opinion was exactly the same as it was used against other people, and it was also used against Uchiha. Shisui, stop running away. The Hokage you place your hope on can't possibly help you solve your problem. You have the blood of the Uchiha clan flowing in your body, so you are destined not to be accepted by the current Konoha. Baiyi drank in a low voice, but those words were like thunder, deeply engraved in Shisui's mind. He raised his head and looked at Baiyi, a trace of painful struggle flashing in his eyes. Overturning the path he had always adhered to before made Shisui feel confused and afraid at the same time. He had already sacrificed a lot on this path, but the longer he was in contact with Baiyi, the more he realized that the path he had taken seemed to be wrong, and walking on the same road for so long made Shisui feel even more painful. Clan leader, I have awakened the kaleidoscope. As if he had made up his mind, the three Magatama in Shisui's pupils were spinning crazily, and then a kaleidoscope appeared in his pupils. My pupil technique is like that of another god. It can change a person's mind and make the other person completely invisible. Unaware, the Sharingan is known as the Eye of Soul Reflection. When I was hesitating between Uchiha and Konoha, I couldn't see any hope, and it came into being. I couldn't see the hope of solving the problem, and I couldn't see the hope of solving the problem. I know how to solve the problem between Uchiha and Konoha, so I hope to solve it directly through a simple, direct and violent method. But even if there were other gods, he could not guarantee that he could complete this matter. Therefore, Shisui at this moment could only accept the Hokage's arrangement. Compared with the previous Uchiha clan, he believed that the Uchiha clan would fail, so he tried to use other gods to change Uchiha Fugaku's mind. Because his previous idea was to prove that the Uchiha clan was not guilty, instead of what Baiyi said now, there is no need to prove the Uchiha clan to prove the so-called guilt theory, other gods, he has only told Itachi now, and now that he has revealed the eye technique to Baiyi, he actually has a glimmer of hope for Baiyi in his heart. You'd better not tell anyone about this pupil technique, otherwise no one can guarantee that you won't be greedy. After Shisui told Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo about these eyes, it didn't take long for Danzo to take action directly. After that, Sarutobi Hiruzen also acquiesced to this matter. In fact, after all, aren't the two of them also afraid of other gods? Sarutobi Hiruzen always said he believed in Shisui, but did he really believe it? If you say that Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know about the roots, that's impossible. It can be said that the entire Konoha is in the hands of Sarutobi Hiruzen. This Hokage has been in Konoha for so many years. Let's not talk about other details, but Danzo's roots. If Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't nod, the next day the roots are gone. Nowadays, all of Danzo's rights and power are based on Sarutobi Hiruzen. Therefore, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was afraid of other gods, finally chose to acquiesce in this matter. As for why Danzo didn't ask Sarutobi Hiruzen to abdicate the other gods and give him the throne, there is a high probability that the two had an agreement, or it was Sarutobi Hiruzen who understood that Danzo would not do anything to him personally. I know, only Itachi knows about it so far, and he won't tell anyone else. I probably know what you mean by asking for me, Patriarch. I am willing to tell the Patriarch about my kaleidoscope and abilities because what you said before, Patriarch, is true. The truth also makes me feel that Uchiha's problems do not necessarily need to rely on external forces to solve. However, if the Patriarch wants to win over me, please tell me the specific plan. Of course, if the Patriarch does not want to believe me, then no, it doesn't matter. Shisui has already had a showdown with Baiyi. Since he dares to tell Baiyi directly about his abilities, he is actually willing to trust Baiyi again, and his current identity is also very embarrassing. Maybe Baiyi is not willing to believe him. After staying in ANBU for so long, even I was doubting which side I belonged to. Why don't you want to believe it? Haven't you been working hard to correct the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha? It's just that the efforts you made before were simply wrong. In the final analysis, Shisui's efforts have always been in the wrong direction. He believed in Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo, and finally took the Uchiha clan directly with him. In fact, Byakuya himself knew very well that judging from the strength of Konoha, the Uchiha clan might not be able to succeed if the radical faction were to become the enemy of Konoha as a whole. On the eve of the Fourth Ninja War, when the Five Shadows held a meeting, the two pillars were already kaleidoscope, but they were almost beaten to death by the Raikage. If the Raikage was really prepared to lose his legs at that time, he would probably be able to trample Sasuke to death, and if Obito hadn't appeared later, Anoki would have killed them all. The kaleidoscope combined with the strength of the shadow level is the icing on the cake, but relying on the kaleidoscope to become a shadow, it is really impossible to win against the 5 shadows. Even though Sarutobi Hiruzen is old now, he is really not mentally retarded. When he fought Orochimaru, he was fighting the inferior version of the first and second generations and Orochimaru in his peak period, and he still took away Orochimaru. A pair of hands, if he hadn't softened his heart, he might have been able to take Orochimaru away with him. In Danzo's original work, there are all kinds of silly tricks, including kunai stabbing Susan, but his strength is definitely at the level of an elite jonin. Plus there are so many ninjas in Konoha, even with the kaleidoscope, Byakuya feels like he can't beat Konoha. So Byakuya can understand Shisui's original despair. At the moment, Jisui seems to have the intention to fall towards him, so he will drive Jisui away only if he has a brain attack. Thank you. Jisui felt warm in his heart. He had been misunderstood all these years, but he had no complaints. Now that someone was willing to believe in him, he felt a little complicated. Shisui, do you know about Danzo? Danzo? Jisui shook his head, and then asked with some doubts in his eyes, did the patriarch say he understood him? No, I know what kind of person he is. He has always followed the policies of the second Hokage. He is more radical and wants to eliminate the Uchiha clan. At the same time, he also covets the power of Uchiha. He already knows that Uchiha is Inaji's secret technique, and his arm has been transplanted with our Uchiha's Sharingan. This time the genocide was actually driven by him. Byakuya must remind Shisui about Danzo. That guy has been coveting the Sharingan. When Shisui heard Byakuya's words, his expression immediately changed. Then why don't we let this matter out, clan leader, and we can tell Lord Hokage. Shisui was a little excited. Although he had always disapproved of the use of force, it did not mean that he could watch his Sharingan being taken away by others. And where did Danzo's Sharingan come from? How did Byakuya know? Shisui's mind was also in a state of confusion at the moment. Every word that came out of Byakuya's mouth made Shisui feel a little overwhelmed. Do you think our Hokage doesn't know what Northeast by East and Danzo have done over the years? Danzo's Sharingan arm was originally researched by Orochimaru. Later, Orochimaru was let go by our Hokage, and Danzo didn't either. When being investigated by our Hokage-sama, it is impossible for him to say that he doesn't know anything at all, right? It can only be said that our Uchiha clan is not the heart of the Hokage-sama. Byakuya couldn't help but sneered at the end. The double standard of Sarutobi and Hiruzen has always been possible. The Uchiha clan is a source of instability. Danzo has done so many things over the years, but he is still assisted by the Hokage. He is indeed a good classmate. And Byakuya wanted to laugh even more at Shisui's innocent thoughts. Shisui, have you learned the will of fire? That's right. Wherever the leaves are flying, the fire is endless. Shisui believes that he still understands the will of fire. Are you still proud? Byakuya looked at Shisui with a dark look on his face, and you seem to be very proud of your understanding of the will of fire. Clan leader, I. Shisui touched the back of his head in embarrassment. His subconscious words seemed to make Byakuya angry, right? But, he feels right. Forget it, Jisui's so-called will of fire, all I saw on it were 2 words: pyramid scheme. It's just a lie. If the will of fire was useful, when he was in the Valley of the End, Senju Hashirama would not have personally killed his good brother Uchiha Madara, who founded the village together. For the sake of the village, the purpose of establishing existence is to protect the people in the village, but Senju Hashirama in turn killed Madara for the sake of the village. Similarly, if the will of fire is useful, then the second Hokage Senju Tobarama will not exclude our Uchiha clan, but will choose to accept it. This is even more ridiculous in the 3rd generation. The primary spirit of the will of fire is the spirit of sacrifice. As a result, during the Second Ninja War and the Third Ninja War, the Hokage was strategizing from behind and let the children go to the battlefield to protect the village. Isn't this ridiculous? The shadow of a village was hiding in the village to command, and during the Nine-Tails Rebellion, Danzo, who was the Hokage's assistant, led the roots and stood still. The fourth generation is not bad, but it is a pity that he died too early, otherwise our Uchiha clan would not have reached this point with Konoha. So, Shisui, tell me again now, what exactly is the will of fire? Today, Byakuya is going to completely defeat all the beliefs of Shisui in the past. He must create a new Shisui, a Shisui who belongs to Uchiha. Chapter 60, Abducting Sasuke, Itachi's mentality collapsed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 60, Abducting Sasuke, Itachi's mentality collapsed. After reading the whole chapter of the Will of Fire, Bai only saw cannibalism. For children who have not yet reached adulthood, when their wills in all aspects have not been fully formed, they will actually be affected to a great extent. In fact, according to his guess, the original intention of Senju Hashirama to formulate the Will of Fire was to let all the families in the village put aside their prejudices and family interests, and then break up all the families and integrate into Konoha. Like the Senju family, but is this possible? It is simply impossible. So, starting from the third generation, the Will of Fire changed. In the early stage, Sarutobi Hiruzen may have realized that his rule seemed to have caused dissatisfaction among many people. He chose to abdicate and handed over power to the civilian ninja Namikaze Minato, but he was reluctant to hand it all over, and he still held the Anbu. When he came to power for the second time, the Will of Fire completely became a tool for him to rule the village. Patriarch Bai, the village we are in now, isn't it because of the Will of Fire that it has been able to survive until now, and it is also because of the Will of Fire that it has been able to maintain the first ninja village. Shisui flashed a bitter smile on his face, trying to refute Bai, but he couldn't find any point to refute, and could only use these vague things to debate with Bai. He was not arguing for others, but for his own persistence over the years. What really makes the village the first is not the so-called Will of Fire, but for people like you and me who work for the village, civilian ninjas, family ninjas, and all the villagers. It is also what they have worked hard for. If a will can make the village stronger, then everyone should not practice in the future, just make their own will stronger. Why bother to practice hard? Shisui, the Will of Fire has long changed in their hands. Can't you see clearly what has happened over the years? Uchiha and them have reached the point where they are incompatible, that the peace of the village is exchanged for the sacrifice of others. If they had all fought in the Ninja World War, then Bai couldn't come up with any reason. Danzo was fine, at least he went to the battlefield to command, and Sarutobi Hiruzen was left behind, and over the years, the biggest sacrifices have always been made by the ninjas of their family. Did the Uchiha clan sacrifice less in these years? Then why can't they get what they deserve for their sacrifices? Do you know why the clan members have always wanted a Hokage to appear in the Uchiha clan? Bai looked up at Shisui and asked. Why? Shisui was a little confused. In fact, everyone knew that it might be really difficult for the Uchiha clan to have a Hokage. However, it seems that the clan has always had an inexplicable obsession with the position of Hokage. Even if the radicals had been shouting about rebellion, the slogan was to overthrow the existing Hokage and become Hokage. Not to say that the entire Uchiha rebellion in Konoha would never stop. Because we paid but didn't get the results we wanted, the Uchiha clan couldn't even participate in decision-making for so many years. The clan members thought that since we sacrificed so much, we should get some of the treatment we deserved, and this treatment not only didn't get better, but even got worse. Over the years, we sacrificed the most in the war, but got the least, or even nothing. On the contrary, small and medium-sized families such as Sarutobi, Shimura, Mito, and Utane were able to get a lot of benefits every time because they had a Hokage and a group of elders, but they paid very little. Do you think this is fair? We Uchiha want fairness or TM fairness. If we can't get fairness, how can we get anything else? Bai stood up and pointed outside. Shisui, come with me to the clan to take a look. He knew that he had said almost everything he could say. He could only wait for Shisui to think about it himself, and now Bai wanted to take Shisui to take a look at the clan. Over the years, probably because he was excluded by the clan members, Shisui rarely stayed in the clan for too long. Following Bai all the time, the Uchiha clan has completely changed its surroundings. Because they moved from that place, everything here has been renovated and returned to the original place where they lived. Everyone in the clan is very satisfied, at least in the center. They need to walk a long time to many shops. Ninjas naturally don't need to worry, but ordinary people need to walk a long time. Not all members of the Uchiha clan are ninjas. This is the most intuitive feeling. Life has become more convenient. In the past, business could only be done in the clan because the location was too remote and there were other ninjas around. Naturally, they didn't need to come to Uchiha to buy things. After a while, many things of the Uchiha clan were not easy to sell, but after returning here, even if they had some prejudice against Uchiha, this is the center point, and there is enough traffic, so naturally some people will choose to come to Uchiha to buy things. Hello, clan leader, brother Shisui. Sasuke. How do you feel here? Bai Yi looked at Sasuke with some surprise. The kid seemed to have just finished school. This was actually the first time he had seen Sasuke. He had to say that the second pillar looked really cute at this time. Now he was not the kind of person who liked to act more and more when he was beaten, and the more he acted, the more he got beaten, and looking at Sasuke's eyes, he seemed to admire him. Does the clan leader know me? Sasuke's face flashed with excitement. He didn't expect Bai Yi to know his name. He didn't remember meeting Bai Yi, and Shisui knew him a long time ago because of his brother Uchiha Itachi. Of course I know. I have heard of Fugaku's youngest son. He is a genius student in the ninja school. Not really. In fact, Sasuke was still a little shy in his heart. Being praised by Bai Yi, he thought that his level was not comparable to Bai Yi. He is indeed a genius. I heard that he seems to be the first in the school. Shisui touched his chin, and a trace of reminiscence flashed in his eyes. If I remember correctly, Uchiha Itachi told him about his brother's grades. He is worthy of being Itachi's younger brother. Shisui couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Talent can indeed be inherited. Being the first in school is nothing. It would be great if I could be the same as the clan leader. Oh. The same as me? A hint of interest flashed in Bai Yi's eyes. After hearing what Sasuke said, he wanted to hear what Sasuke thought of him. Of course, because everyone is saying that because of the clan leader, we can all return to our original residence and maintain the glory of the Uchiha clan. Damn, I thought the clan leader was not as good as my father. In fact, because Sasuke was very young during the Ninetales rebellion, he didn't know much about these things. He just knew that the Uchiha clan didn't live here at first, because he could occasionally hear complaints from other Uchiha clan members, but when Bai Yi took it back and Sasuke moved with him, he found that the place where the Uchiha clan lived before was actually the center of Konoha. It was very convenient to go anywhere, and Sasuke also admired Bai Yi very much when he heard that Bai Yi took it back. It's a pity that he always thought that his father was the most suitable clan leader. Is that so? I remember that Sasuke has always been targeting his brother, right? Bai Yi touched his chin, and suddenly an idea came to his mind. In fact, it seems much easier to deal with Itachi. Shisui needs to fool him in various ways. Itachi is actually not easy to fool, but don't forget one point. Itachi has a weakness, that is Sasuke. If I abduct Sasuke, it seems that it is not impossible. What's more, Sasuke's thoughts at this time have not been completely finalized, and I can completely instill my thoughts into Sasuke according to my will. Instead of letting him follow Itachi, who has a deep hatred for him, it is better to let Sasuke follow me. After thinking of this, Bai Yi's heart was also a little restless. This is different. I think I just. After all, Sasuke is still young, and some words can't be explained clearly for a while. He just feels that Bai Yi is very powerful, but his brother is also powerful. But he also felt that Bai Yi was better than his brother, because the whole clan thought Bai Yi was good. Even his father had been praising Bai Yi recently, which made Sasuke curious and had some psychological impact. Actually, there is no need to teach too much. Sasuke, do you want to practice with me? Bai Yi said directly. After hearing Bai Yi's words, Sasuke and Shisui were shocked. Clan leader. Shisui thought Bai Yi wanted to threaten Itachi with Sasuke. It's just normal teaching. I feel that Sasuke is quite close to me. Bai Yi explained slowly, threatening Itachi with Sasuke, but probably he also wanted to change Sasuke with his own will. it's the easiest time to fool when you are a child, but it's really hard to fool when you grow up. Moreover, accepting Indra as a disciple and changing the subsequent path should also be considered as changing the plot by yourself, right? Is it really possible? Sasuke looked at Bai Yi with expectation, but he was entangled in the next second. But Oni-chan. In fact, he was also afraid that if he accepted Bai Ye's teaching, it would be difficult for him if his brother wanted to teach him in the future. At that time, it would not be good to refuse anyone, but he was very moved by Bai Ye's proposal. Although Sasuke was currently the first in the ninja school, he still felt that it was not enough. He had also heard about the legend of his brother in the ninja school. In fact, he hoped that he could graduate early so that he could better catch up with Itachi. It's okay, it's just training. If Sasuke is on vacation tomorrow, do you want to practice with me? There are no classes in the ninja school on weekends. On weekends, you can either go out to play or practice on your own. Sasuke would not refuse Bai Ye's kindness, and then nodded in agreement. Then it's settled, Patriarch. Seemingly afraid that Bai Yi would regret it, Sasuke mentioned it to Bai Yi the moment he turned around. This kid, Bai Yi smiled. He had to say that raising a second-rate person sounded fun. Shisui, let's go on. Yes, clan leader. Although he didn't know what Bai Ye's purpose was in bringing him to the Uchiha clan, Shisui still followed Bai Yi obediently. Around him, people kept greeting Bai Yi. No matter they were old people, children, or ninjas of the family, at least at this moment, they were all grateful to Bai Yi in their hearts. Did you see that, Shisui? They just want to live quietly like this. They haven't done anything wrong. When you were fighting for Konoha, why didn't you look at the children and the elderly in the family? You are now leading the people in the family step by step to destruction, and they don't want to die. Behind him, Shisui listened to Bai Ye's words, and his heart was already turbulent. He also understood what Bai Ye's purpose was in bringing him into the family. It has been a long time since he walked in the Uchiha clan like this. Chief, so you are not going to go to war with Konoha? I have said it before, Konoha is not our enemy, our real enemies have always been them. In the end, Shisui, you have to figure out whether you want to choose those people or our family, and I will handle the relationship with other families before taking action. As he said, Bai Yi turned his head to look at Shisui, then raised his left hand and patted his shoulder and said, "That's it, Shisui, you should have your own things later, I won't waste your time, think about it yourself." I know, Chief. Shisui nodded, then watched Bai Ye's back gradually go away, lowered his head and thought for a while, then jumped away. In a secret forest, this is where Shisui and Itachi often meet. Itachi has been waiting here for a long time. After seeing Shisui arrive, Itachi also looked at Shisui anxiously and asked, "Shisui, what does the chief want to see you for?" He always felt something was wrong when he came to Shisui alone. "Itachi, there is something I want to tell you." Shisui was silent for a while, then raised his head and looked at Itachi seriously. "I want to help the clan leader fulfill his idea. At least now I feel that he is right. Everything we did before was useless. We are not only hated by the clan, but even the village does not trust us very much. What the clan leader Bai Yi said is right. In fact, most people in the village do not want to be enemies with us. On the contrary, everyone can actually live in peace, but some people do not think so. If we continue to live in disgrace, we will only lead the Uchiha clan to perish. We should not pin our hopes on them. At least, I don't dare to believe them now. What do you think, Itachi?" After Shisui finished speaking, he did not continue to say anything, but gave Itachi some time to think. On the contrary, Itachi, his mentality collapsed at this moment. After chatting for an afternoon, you fucking betrayed?